Good afternoon and evening, ladies and gentlemen. Lights Thunder Action will be on right after these songs. We're experiencing technical difficulties. Thank you for hanging around here with the Lights Thunder Action. We'll be right back, man. Yeah. Welcome to the shop of Anonymous. I swear I don't want anything to do with this, I promise. If you hear me screaming from the top, I'm dropping knowledge. Is a barrel's too far gone for a rookie, so I'm calling this game over for you chumps. The grind is all I know and do. Breathing fire like a dragons or green power coming through. Yeah, I'm working 3 jobs so that I can frack in a crew. That money you dummy and funeral honey can take that love from me. Going to the future and never coming back. Marty McFly, nah, more like he's dead. Trying to be calm, all these dudes is just whack. Propaganda flying, so now everybody mad. Empathy is gone, so we all for attack. If you disagree, you just stupid and sad. Use intolerance, so must be smoking crack. Ignorance is bliss, y'all just a dyad. 2 sides of the same coin, killer. While we ever stop living up for a pillar. Acting like everything in life is be a thriller. We living in a world written by Frank Miller. Cause the dark night returns, so now we turn. See our hair is messed up and now we burn. Then because they piss us off and now we burn. Their careers and lives to the ground. Cause we yearn to be in a position so that we earn millions and millions and millions. But then we turn into the very thing we hate. Then we revert and we revert to the lines that we rehearse. Spread love and forgiveness, only this and deeper. Distract myself from the world. Water, earth, fire, air, swirl. Bend it to your will, then hurl. Flying buffalo, why don't you give it a whirl? Slap a saber, then just twirl. Force a pair, a true live bros.
To the dark side you paid unfurl.
Just the time I get back to work. Captain of my own enterprise, call me Kirk. Anger and depression always seem to lurk. Around every corner, so we're at this just a perk. Everybody moved up, cause we screwed up. Living in a country where we shoot up. Anybody disagree, just to move up the food chain where you grew up. Otherwise they beat you down cause you used up. Time to boot up. New mindset program, think you knew us. But you shoe us, you only care about us to subdue us. Just to screw us. Living in a country full of Judas. Stab you in the back, you will say you're Brutus. Call them Lucius. Bringing out the dark night, now we tuned up. Time to scoop up any positivity while the masses all are clueless. They can only catch the speed, Mr. New Ones, opportunists. Leave them naked in the ground, talking ruthless. I am ruthless. Visions full of kids, grown ghoulish, spoken ruthless. Spitting problems like Confucius, Tommy, Theoretic, Nostradamus.
Who this? Who this? Who this? Who this? Who this?
I'm GW Pomichter.
I'm Dina Marie.
I'm Sage Ia.
I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
Hey, I'm David Thompson.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mia.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Hey there, this is Dave Adams.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Rose.
Jerome Conner here.
Hey guys, it's Josh Bauer.
It's Willow Schuyler.
I'm Cosplay Michael.
I'm Brevard.
It's your boy Country.
I'm Ryan Permison.
And I'd like to ask you guys,
please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please
subscribe.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe to HWWS
WebTV.
Great bunch of people.
And don't forget to smash the bell.
Ring that bell.
Smash that bell.
Hit that bell.
Hit the bell to be notified.
Hit the bell to get notified of new shows
and videos.
You're going to want to do that, so do that soon.
So we can cross that 20,000 mark.
And get us to 100,000 subscribers.
To 1 million and 10 million and 100 million.
On HWWS
WebTV.
You really like it. I guarantee it.
Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to LightsThunderAction, episode 53. It's April 26, 2021. Every week here at LightsThunderAction, two Thunder buddies, we just discuss all things Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and the latest happenings in the entertainment industry. I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
My name's David Thompson, and today we've got a big show for you guys. So, of course, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier has come to an end, and we will be discussing a new Captain America and a new Captain America 4, which is apparently coming, which is off the heels of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Spoiler alert. So cannot wait to talk about that. Yeah. We will also be going into some of the stuff with the Oscars that happened last night. And then at the end of this show, we are going to be ranking, now that we've gotten 2 Disney Plus Marvel live action shows down, we're going to kind of go through a list of ranking our own live action Marvel shows. And not just Disney Plus, obviously. That'd just be 2 shows, like with Netflix and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that good stuff. With a special guest we'll get to in 1 second. But before that, Thomas, what else you got for me?
As you know, every week we are live streaming directly into your homes and phones via our Facebook of Lights Thunder Action, the HWWS WebTV channel on Facebook and on YouTube, and our Twitch channel, which ironically, I was supposed to have my graphics made. Bam! There we go. Our Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/LightsThunderAction, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces. And of course, we are live streaming on Twitter as well at LTA Podcasting. That's an action verb of ING. You can find all of those links at Linktree.com/LightsThunderAction. But if you want to just listen to our beautiful voices and not see our ugly mugs, where can they be found at?
Yeah, you guys can find our audio podcast of Lights Thunder Action at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Right now, we're going through a bit of a transitional phase with our audio podcast feed, let's say. So it's not exactly updated yet, but most of our catalog you'll be able to find up there. We'll get everything squared away pretty soon. But yeah, if you guys are feeling generous, want to keep up, subscribe, follow, maybe even leave us a 5-star review. If you're supporting us in any way, it means a great deal. Now, for someone else who supports us is our special guest today, another brother from the direct.com, Jack Puce. Jack is an MCU superfan and a Star Wars Rebels advocate, which I'm sure him and Thomas will take some time today to remind me of how great Rebels apparently is. Jack, thank you so much for coming on. We've been on the Direct podcast together before. Thank you for coming on this show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, guys. I'm just hoping my Wi-Fi holds up. But besides that, I mean, I'm so excited to be here talking everything MCU. I'm stretching my wings a little bit. Wings, see what I did there? Talking strictly MCU today.
I was
and not, usually I'm
and the
I'm
Wi-Fi.
Star Wars.
Tony Stank has cut the Wi-Fi price. You gotta love Tony. Anyways, David.
Yes.
What have you? How have you been? He's back, Jack.
You're back. All right, so
I'm back.
You got
I'm
pins.
back. I got some lightsaber pens here.
So you said you were talking about how you've been doing, man. So how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I watched Gone Girl for the first time last night, and whoa, what a movie! I mean, I had heard kind of bits and pieces about what it's like, and I never watched it before last night, and whoa, I mean, just really, I mean, great film, but crazy movie. Definitely some like scenes I wish I hadn't seen. Specifically one where I'm like, oh gosh. But like a David Fincher film, like The Social Network by David Fincher is one of my favorite movies ever, if not like my favorite movie ever. And I really like Mindhunter as well, which is a David Fincher project on Netflix, the Netflix series. And like just great filmmaking. The fact that it's like an hour or like two hours and 40 minutes long and I mean, it's long. It moves, right? It really moves. And like the first hour you could categorize as slow, but it all builds up in a beautiful way. And you're like just captured with what's going on the entire time. So yeah, that was a great cinematic experience I had last night. So yeah, I'm doing good. How about you, Thomas? How have you been?
I'm good, man. We're on, I think today is officially Monday. I really don't know. I don't know days, man. You know, I'm doing well. I am very excited to be talking the things that make me wake up and get out of bed in the morning. I'm talking Marvel. I'm talking movies. I'm talking box office.
Yep.
But I'm really more excited that Jack's here. Jack, have you actually been watching anything, brother? Like anything recently?
I have been watching the Clone Wars, shockingly enough, gearing up for the Bad Batch. Can't wait. But I mean, little oddball here, but don't know if you guys have ever heard of the show Pretty Little Liars that was on ABC Family. My girlfriend started watching that. I watched it in middle school with my sister, so I've been caught up with it, but she's watching it for the first time. So kind of been watching that. I'm always down for a good mystery. I mean, same thing with Gone Girl. That's why I love that movie. But yeah, just some fun stuff. But I mean, sticking with Star Wars, sticking with Clone Wars, got to get ready for that.
Yeah. You can never go wrong with a little Wars in the Stars.
Amazing.
David, you started watching Invincible, right? Wow, my voice cracked.
Yeah, just barely. So I actually started. I was gonna talk about it a little bit later in the news for the box office reporting. So I kind of took a left turn right when I started Invincible. I maybe finished the first episode of Invincible, but then I actually started watching the anime show Demon Slayer, which has a full like 26 episode full first season. Because that movie's out in theaters right now. And my friends have been talking about it and like wanted to go see it or whatever. And there's like, you know, it's a pretty good anime, but the movie theater experience would be really fun. And obviously I want any excuse right now to get back out to the theater, even though I did this past weekend go see Kong vs. Godzilla again. And I will say, I was also going to talk about this later with the box office stuff, was that it was the most crowded theater I've been in since the pandemic started. It was like the Regal here where I was, it was, you know, I think it's 50%. But it was probably 50% full, or maybe like 45% full. Because we like when we were reserving the tickets, for instance, we ended up sitting in the third row. It's the fully reclining seats, which made it doable. But we still had to like pick a subpar seat because the amount of people that were going to see it. So I'm like, shit, this is sweet. I mean, I'll take it because I'm happy to see people going back out to the theater. It is a pain. I mean, it's safe. You know, whatever. It is a pain in the ass though, where like because of the social distancing, how like picking out seats for a 3-person group, which I went with, is like it's just kind of shitty right now. You can't. It's not as easy to do as it used to be. But I'm not gonna sit here and just complain about that because I was ecstatic to be back in the theater. At least the one here in Gainesville had just opened back up, so and they have like these nice reclining seats and stuff. So great experience overall. Anyway, I was going to talk about a lot of that in box office, but yes.
Well, you're good. We'll get to Invincible a little bit later.
Yeah, Invincible is good, by the way. Yes.
Well, you said maybe I finished the first episode. I don't know, and I'm going to quiz you. because I will know if you finished the first episode.
I don't think I did.
Because it fucking scarred me. In the same way that The Boys scarred me, because it hit me with such a swerve out of nowhere that I was like, do I even watch the rest of this show? Like, I don't know if I can take these.
I have not seen the end then. Yeah.
Then you've not, yeah. So, but you know what I've been watching, David?
Yeah.
We are 3 days away from the greatest day ever, the draft. So, because I'm ready, I saw that Jack was wearing some Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, he wants the Lawrence, and they're picking Trevor Lawrence. They'd be stupid not to, based on what everyone says.
Yeah.
David, who do you want the Colts to pick?
Okay, so first off, I hate the Jaguars. I hate Jack, and I hate Trevor Lawrence. I can't. I'm gonna before I get to who I want. The Colts
He's not
to
even drafted, and you already hate him.
He's basically drafted. He's already like given money. He's like donated to charities in Jacksonville. One,
Jax fans,
where's that money coming from? But two,
we bought him a toaster.
Wait, a Cylon? You got him a whole Cylon? That's awesome.
This is like a high-tech toaster.
The amount of resentment I now have towards the New York Jets. Stop. Why were they winning games? Because think about it now. They get Urban Meyer, Jacksonville. Now they get Trevor Lawrence. If you're the Jets, you could have just kept tanking, gotten Trevor Lawrence. Okay. Zach Wilson on the Jets is still going to suck. He's basically Sam Darnold, but a couple years younger. They like him because he can make great throws that cross the body. Guess who else can do that? Sam Darnold, who you just traded away for some decent picks, actually. But now you're going to put your money into the Zach Wilson jar, even though your team still blows. Sorry, Jets fans who I'm sure aren't watching right now. And now the Jags.
They know they blow.
The Jags get Urban Meyer. They get Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, who is the best prospect since Andrew Luck, who's literally has hardly any flaws in his game, and now he has to be in the AFC South for the next 15 years. Hopefully not. I'm upset. Also, I want the Colts at number 21 to either trade back, which I think we're going to, or draft. I forget his last name. First name is Aziz from Georgia. He's an outside linebacker, edge rusher, defensive end. He's like 6'6", or no, he's 6'3", like 240, kind of undersized, but just raw athletic ability, and like led the SEC in, I think, tackles for loss and sacks. So that's who I want. I don't even remember his last name because I think I wouldn't be able to pronounce it correctly. But Aziz guy from Georgia, go Colts. I hate the Jags. I hate Trevor Lawrence. I'm over it already. I'm over it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, mine's going to be a lot less long. I mean, it's simple. If Kyle Pitts... Well, I mean, you went on a whole diatribe of how much you hate the Jags, and I respect that because, I mean, I hated the Redskins, but now the Redskins are dead, and I have won. Go Cowboys.
The team no longer exists.
The team no longer exists. I actually rooted for the Washington football team last year because I was like, I don't want us to win. My buddy's a Giants fan. He didn't want his team to win. I hate the Eagles, so I was like, Washington football team. Go Ron Rivera. Go Alex Smith. You both deserve it. And I really wanted them to beat Brady, but, stuff happens.
I like those helmets. I like the new helmets.
I do, too. I never thought that all I had to do was just take off the ugly emblems and throw on just numbers. I'm like, wow, you look like a decent team.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's simple for me. If we stay at 10 and Kyle Pitts falls, why not take a generational player? But he ain't going to fall. So I either want to trade back maximum of 3 picks because I want either Patrick Surtain or JC Horn because both of them fit our system. And from what I've seen, we might trade with someone. They want to come up, get a quarterback. Then it's 2 corners off, and it's looking like Horn is the third one because of he's not as ready right now, but he has the potential to be the best corner out of the entire lot. Also, son of Joe Horn. So I don't know if you're old enough, David, to remember Joe Horn when he used to do the cell phone under the goalpost. If JC Horn doesn't do that on a pick six, I'm gonna be a little bit ashamed. I'm just saying, it's got to stay in the family. So that's who I want, and I really don't want us to trade behind the Eagles. I hate the Eagles, man.
Where are the Eagles at? 13 now? They moved around already.
They did, yes. I believe they are now 12.
12,
We're 10.
yes, it's 12.
10, 11, 12. Cowboys, Giants, Eagles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No,
So.
I think Pitts probably goes forward the Atlanta if they don't move. They might move though. But I think if they stick there, it's Pitts to 4.
I don't know, man. I think Atlanta's blowing a lot of smoke. I think it's either they're going to take a quarterback or they're going to take Kyle Pitts.
I think so.
I don't think they're moving back. Because why would you move back? I mean, unless you're getting a diamond of a player off of a squad already, because they're about to go up there to get Kyle Pitts. So it's like, you want him? Give us somebody that we need.
Yeah, I mean, you would think it would be, and we can stop the sports talk after this.
I love it.
Yeah, we're scrapping the whole show. This is a pre-draft show now. No. I think the only reason they would move is if, say, New England or Denver gave them a treasure trove of picks because they wanted Justin Fields, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they just wanted to make sure they can get a quarterback. My prediction, just put it on. I think Atlanta sits there, stays there, and just gets Pitts, and then their offense just goes. That offense would be unbelievable if they get Pitts.
Yes. My thing when it comes to, it's kind of tying back into your Zach Wilson thing.
Right.
They have to decide after this year on Darnold whether they keep him or not, and they know their roster's not good enough to give him a good shot. So bring in a rookie quarterback, use a transitional season if you need it, but he's not going to. It's the number 2 pick. He's going to be thrown into the Wolves and get murdered like all Jets quarterbacks do.
Yeah.
So it's more of that was a money move, not we're building a team. It's listen, we're building a team. We didn't draft this guy. So I'm going to just go ahead and trade him, pick our guy, and then
they want to reset
4 years to develop. Because it's a whole new front office. So that makes sense. In the same essence with Atlanta, if, I know that you got to pay $80 million in guaranteed money over the next 3 years, I think it is, to Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
But you got to plan for it is 2? Is there only 2 years left? We're in 2021. I forgot. My bad.
Yeah.
So, after this, it's like a huge cap hit, and then it's a big drop. So, theoretically, if they draft a quarterback now, Trey Lance, who everyone's saying needs a year to sit,
right?
That's brilliant. And if you give him a year and a half or 2 years to sit, I mean, we saw what happened with Patty Mahomes. There's no telling what could happen. And I don't think they're going to release Matt Ryan. They would probably trade him to a squad where he can try and win a Super Bowl, because that is what I think Arthur Blank would do. He's a player's owner. So I think that would be where that's going to go. But you never know. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stop the NFL discussion of LightsThunderAction. We're going to take a quick ad break. We have some bills to pay. And we'll be right back with everyone's favorite segment of the week.
What was it you promised your old man?
Never give up. Do something they'll never forget.
I'm afraid I am a coward. I'm sorry for everything.
This is my
You'll
moment.
be missed.
If I had done this a long time ago,
A true movie-land tragedy.
it would have saved a lot of pain.
Peg Entwistle, known for her spectacular Broadway performances and a promising movie career, is gone.
They'll never forget this.
Hello, I'm Thor, son of Dale, here to tell you about the Life of Thor Productions official shop. The only place where you can get your official merchandise for the Lights Thunder Action podcast and Life of Thor's Thor Watches series. Whether you want t-shirts, tanks, hoodies, mugs, and masks, Life of Thor Productions official shop has you covered. If you happen to recognize there's an item that you would like to buy that is not in the official shop, head over to the Lights Thunder Action podcast or Life of Thor and request that item, because if you want it, we'll sell it. Just head to lotproductions.threadless.com/collections to get the item that calls out to you via the Force. Again, that is lotproductions.threadless.com/collections. Thank you, and have a Thortastic day. A small town coroner has to team up with her ex-fiancé to save her town from a swarm of mutant honeybees. There's action, drama, humor, maybe even a flamethrower or two. There's definitely a ton of bad bee puns and a very unlikely Hawaiian-wearing hero. This classic sci-fi feature cheese fest, written and directed by Alicia Marie and starring local talent from the Emerald Coast, invites you to join our journey from conception to reception by visiting Linktr.com/zombies the movie to keep up with all the buzz and donate to the GoFundMe campaign. Again, linktree.com/zombies the movie. ZOMBEEZTHE movie on GoFundMe now. And we're back now, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for this beautiful journalist to my right to enlighten us with new information from across the multiverse. David Thompson, in case you don't know, he's kind of a big deal, works for The Direct. You see him here every week, and that's why it's everyone's favorite segment.
What the news?
All right, what the news of the week? We're coming off pretty hot. I mean, this is a big story, and I think it kind of means a lot to me. Not in the sense it's like, oh, I really cared, but where moving forward, it gets me excited for a specific MCU project where I've had, admittedly, zero excitement for. So Eternals director Chloe Zhao, she won the Oscar for Best Director for Nomadland, a movie I have not seen, admittedly. I've not seen Nomadland. I saw it was on Hulu just like an hour ago. I saw it there on Hulu, so I might have to check that out. But yes, she won Best Director in the 93rd Academy Awards. I question, so no way Eternals is bad now, right? Jack, you saw this. What are your thoughts on her winning the award / maybe some Eternals anticipation level for you?
Yeah, so I didn't see this movie either. A bunch of people told me to. I'm going to at some point. I promise people.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was already stoked for Eternals just because I want that Robb Stark, Jon Snow reunion so bad. I mean,
yeah,
that alone, I need it. But my hype level is through the roof. I saw it on Twitter. It's just like trailer alert now. Like, guys, you can finally put in the trailer, Academy Award winning director.
Yeah.
Like, just do it. Put out the trailer. I need it because when does it come out again?
November.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're getting close. I know we just got a Shang-Chi trailer, and that was awesome. Yep. I'm stoked for that. But give me some Eternals, man. I mean, good for her, though, for this movie. I can't wait to watch it. I've heard nothing but good things, and just excited. I'm excited for the future.
Yeah. What do you think, Thomas?
Listen, I'm always hyped for a little bit of Oscar buzz, right? But what really excites me is that, she's kind of a big deal now. And all those rumors we've been hearing about Marvel Studios and Disney are just blown away with what they have in Eternals.
Yeah.
Now, people who are like, I know nothing about Eternals, and why should I care, are now if they hear those rumors and then they see this, they go, well, now I kind of get it. And I've not seen anything of Chloe that I know of. I haven't really been watching a lot of stuff outside of nerd shit lately, so living life properly. So it's really exciting that she won it. I'm excited for her, especially, really, she's the second woman to ever win the award.
Yeah.
Since Catherine Bigelow, right? Which was 2010 for The Hurt Locker, starring good old Jeremy Renner. I actually remember watching that and going, wow, that movie won? Like, I'm surprised. I thought, what was that? Was it Inception that was supposed to win that year? Everyone was thinking was going to win. They were actually going to give it to Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
And then they were like, nah. So very excited. Also, I believe she's the first director of Asian descent to win. Definitely the first female Asian director.
Well, yeah,
I think minority female director to win it.
Yeah, because last year, obviously, I think Parasite won.
Yes. Oh, you're right. Yes. Is he South Korean?
He's South Korean. Yeah.
Oh, wicked. I can't
South Korean
remember stuff. Good. So that kind of brings me to the next point, which I kind of want to talk about.
Sure.
The pandemic Oscars.
Yeah.
How did this happen? I got a full disclosure. All I know is what I've read in articles, reviews, pundits, people involved in the filmmaking industry, what they've talked about. And then really the thing that everyone's the most curious about, at least in terms of the actual what was on TV, is how they switched around Best Picture not being at the end, and moving the actor and actress award to the very end.
Weird.
So they thought it looked like it was going to be okay, Nomadland wins Best Picture. Nomadland, I forget her name, the actress who won Best Actress for Nomadland. It's like, oh, okay, and then it's like, okay, these were kind of expected. Chadwick Boseman's going to win it. We're going to go out on his legacy, and it makes sense. Like, it's a bittersweet thing. I did not give any craps about the Oscars. I didn't know it was happening until 9 o'clock last night when I got home from work, and I was like, oh, the Oscars. Huh. Yeah, I don't have YouTube TV anymore. I guess I'm not watching the Oscars this year.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Oscars. Well, were you done? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, like, what do you guys think about the situation? I mean, also, we should point out Anthony Hopkins, well, the Odin won Best Actor, the oldest person to ever win the Best Actor category. And the last time he won it, I was being born. 1991 Silence of the Lambs. So it's like, huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like, yeah, that's an interesting thing. And I read an article, and according to what everybody has kind of said in like the pre-Oscar ballot voting and the anonymous like straw poll thing, a lot of people were saying this award's going to Chadwick Boseman, but I'm voting for Anthony Hopkins. And they are kind of at the point where they think enough people thought that it was such a shoo-in that Chadwick was going to win that they voted for another one.
Right.
So that one makes me question, A, who was the best performance?
Yeah.
That's actually the only question I have, is who's the best performance then? Like, what is it? They're really tipping their hat in their hand that it is a lot. I mean, in a large organization like that, it is politicized in a way. That's just how business works. And filmmaking is a business. We love it. It's an art craft, but it's also business, and it's a rather cutthroat business.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch last night, and I think I tweeted something out like before they started and before I clicked play on Gone Girl because I wasn't going to watch them, just how unprepared I was for them. And just, I mean, and that was hand in hand with my disinterest in watching them. And apparently I was not alone because I don't have the numbers pulled up in front of me, but like the ratings were awful for the Oscars last night. But how is that shocking at all? No one went to a theater last year pretty much. We're like, that's a super generalization.
If I've been lost or if everyone else has been lost.
Oh, you can't hear us, Thomas?
Oh, are you back or am I back? I don't know.
I don't know. I've been rolling like it's fine.
Fine.
Okay, yeah. You heard David, Jack?
I heard David. Everything looked good on my end. I saw you the whole time.
Then it was me.
Okay.
I froze.
Yeah. Anyway, I wonder what the audience is experiencing. So yeah, I don't know. I had no interest in watching pretty much. I was happy to see that the Eternals director won because I'm like, that made me more excited for an MCU I guess sad to see that Chadwick lost.
Ooh.
What's wrong?
Your mic just did the thing.
throw it to Jack.
Jack, what are your thoughts on the Oscars?
I swear my Wi-Fi's gonna cut out now. You know, with the Oscars in general, I didn't start like caring about the Oscars till like 2016 because that's when I started like watching movies more seriously and keeping up with the Oscar type movies. And you know, I'm a tap dancer, so I love musicals. So I loved La La Land, and that fiasco happened. So it's kind of like the first Oscars I really watched. I know, I see your face, Tom.
That's awesome, dude.
But I was it was crazy. I was like, is this normal? Is this how it normally goes? Because that was an insane thing that happened about saying it was La La Land, and then of course Moonlight actually won. Yeah. So this one wasn't paying attention at all. Didn't really go see any of the movies or try to make an effort to go see them. I just didn't care. And then I started seeing the tweets last night, and I saw something happened. I actually watched it, and apparently Anthony Hopkins, he wasn't there, But apparently he pleaded. I saw this in an article, so I don't know for sure. But apparently he pleaded to like I forget the organization that runs the Oscars. But he was like, "Can I please like zoom in and give my acceptance speech if I win?" And apparently they said no. So they announce who wins, and then it's him, which I guess people were not expecting. And then Joaquin Phoenix is just like, the Oscars accept this award on his behalf. So clearly they thought Chadwick was going to win. It would have been cool to see him win. For me, his legacy goes beyond just the Oscar, but of course, people complaining now that the Oscars were clearly using him, kind of like as a marketing thing to try to get viewers in, especially with this past year. And that just kind of sucks and it doesn't sit right. And it takes away from some of the awesome performances, movies that were awarded last night too. It's just, someone thought like, is this the end of the Oscars? Like, is this really where, because they were already struggling with viewership. And now this happens and 2020 happens. So I really don't know what's going to happen. But this was a little tough to rewatch. I didn't watch it live, but it's kind of a weird thing.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
I can hear. Yeah, I think you're good.
Beautiful. Let's move on to the weekend box office because I love breaking this down. So Godzilla vs. Kong has now made over $400 million worldwide. It's at $406.6 million worldwide. It's now up to $86 million domestically. As I pointed out earlier, before we got into the news, I went and saw it again. I think that was on Saturday, and the theater I was in was just popping. I mean, not quite like it was before the pandemic, but the most since the pandemic started for sure. It's a lot of people. It was definitely like a group community experience, which was totally the first time that's happened with me for a while. And it just felt good. And I saw it again. It was fun. Thomas, I enjoyed it more the second time watching it. And I know you've seen it a couple times.
Just a couple, 2, 3, 4 times.
Yeah. A couple other things. So Godzilla vs. Kong, it's up to over 400 million worldwide, which is great. It's a great number. Only, I think it's important to note only 86 million of that has come domestically. So it's done great overseas if you think about it that way. And it hasn't even opened up in a few markets I was reading. So the the big movies that opened up this weekend were Demon Slayer and Mortal Kombat. Both R-rated movies. Demon Slayer is an anime movie. Mortal Kombat is obviously live action, which is also day and date on HBO Max, which you always have to kind of like factor in. Mortal Kombat outdid Demon Slayer domestically, making $22.5 million domestically, and it's up to a $50.1 million mark globally, which isn't amazing, but this was its opening weekend. Demon Slayer in the United States, this was its first weekend opening here in the States domestically, made $19.5 million, and it's been out since October of last year, Demon Slayer in circuits, and it's now up to $456 million worldwide. But anyway, yeah, it's been out for a while though, and I think like they're still kind of tracking it as like a 2020 released movie, but it just now got here. And it did pretty well, all things considered. It was second in the box office this week, just behind Mortal Kombat. I will say, I forget. Me and Jasmine were just looking for a movie to see, like maybe earlier last week. We ended up seeing Godzilla vs. Kong, but I'd already seen it, so we weren't initially considering that. And it's like I'm ready for there to be some goofy that movie that I maybe wasn't super excited to see, but I'll go see that. There's not really any of those in the theater right now, like the chick flick or like the romantic I almost said like the romantic comedy kind of or just a straight comedy. There's nothing like they don't have the theater filler right now. We saw that movie Voyagers like 2 weeks ago, and that was garbage. But still a pretty fun time.
I've heard good things about Nobody with Bob Odenkirk. I've heard it's it's a decent movie. You get what you kind of expect. It's got some fun plot stuff, and it's entertaining and kind of dark at times. And I'm like, oh, okay, sounds like my kind of gig.
So Jack, you saw these box office numbers. What are your thoughts on any of this?
I mean, I guess for one, I didn't know about Demon Slayer. I know it's been out since October, but I mean, you said 456 million? worldwide. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And Godzilla vs. Kong, obviously, at 406.6 million worldwide, 86 million domestically. I mean, not to always make things go back to the MCU, but I'm just curious to see what's going to happen with Black Widow now that we have these numbers. And obviously, I think that thing is gonna blow these numbers away because people are more hyped for that one, especially because it's supposed to come out last year. Sadly, it didn't. But just looking into this, I have a good feeling. And what you said, David, saying, seeing that the theater was what you think as packed as it could have been in terms of capacity, it gets me excited. I'm just hoping that people start feeling comfortable enough to go back to theaters and start maybe not going in waves because we want everyone to be safe. But I love the theater experience. We're talking about Endgame a lot today on Twitter, and just thinking about that movie, I don't want theaters to go. But if you do Disney Plus release 2 or HBO Max or whatever it is, it is kind of cool that you can watch it, a few days after or right after, just the rewatch. But I want that theater experience. So I'm very optimistic with these numbers and with the future.
Thomas, what do you think about all this?
I'm kind of blown away by that Demon Slayer thing. I didn't know it was been out since October. You're like, it's been out since October. I'm like, what? Okay. Caught me off guard. Godzilla versus Kong doing what Titan's doing. I gotta say, guys, I watched Mortal Kombat and I forgot how good and confusing that 1995 movie was. Yeah, because I haven't watched the new one.
Never seen.
Oh, you didn't watch the new one?
No, man. See, I wanted to segue into that just to be like, by the way, I watched the old one instead. I haven't seen it since 1995 when I was like 4, and all I remember was Prince Goro and being like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
and because it was like right after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so you could tell it was like a genuine mechanical prosthetic. Because it's so clunky in how it moves, and it's just great still. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I am actually surprised that Mortal Kombat made as much money as it made domestically. I'm not even lying about that.
Yeah, I kind of was too. It did pretty good. I mean, especially considering rated R, HBO Max. I thought, I think that's proving. I think these numbers in general, especially looking at the domestic box office, because it's kind of hard to sometimes judge the global, like the international box office as well as here in the States. I think currently the box office, it's showing people want to go back in the theater. And I saw that this weekend. In Gainesville here, it was the first weekend any theater locally had reopened. I go Saturday night. It's like, it's a pretty filled up theater. You could feel the energy in the building. It felt great. It felt like you were back in the movie, seeing some big movie. And we were all, for instance, seeing Godzilla vs. Kong, which had been out for weeks at that point. But people in Gainesville didn't want to travel to go see it anywhere, or didn't want to watch an HBO Max. This was the first time opportunity to see it. And I think we're seeing that through and through in the box office. And like Jack said, kind of like final thought, I cannot wait to see how Black Widow does. And to see what the state is by then. I think it'll be really interesting June 25th when Fast 9 comes out, because that's the first big blockbuster movie that comes out without a streaming service counterpart, day and date. And even Black Widow will have the same thing with Premiere Access. But very curious to see how it keeps going. We're trending in the right direction, though, overall. And I'm super excited about that, right? Definitely. I'm just so excited about that. And moving on, something we're trending in the right direction about, Captain America 4, ladies and gentlemen.
Spoiler alert.
The
visuals.
Pardon if you haven't watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier yet, the finale. If you're watching this show, you probably have, though.
Yeah, first off, what the fuck have you been doing all weekend? I've seen it 4 times. While working like almost 40 hours in 3 days. Come on.
Coming from the Hollywood Reporter, this came out the day of the release of the finale. Here we go. Reading straight from the article, the head writer and creator of Disney Plus and Marvel's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is developing a 4th installment of the Captain America film franchise for Marvel Studios. Spellman will Malcolm Spellman, they're speaking about, will co-write and script with Delon Misson, something like that, a staff writer for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Here is what's interesting too. So super excited. Everything points to this being an Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson led Captain America 4. This is what I have personally wanted instead of a Falcon and the Winter Soldier season 2 or Captain America and the Winter Soldier season 2. Just because I prefer movies, I think it would be more impactful for this to be a blockbuster, giant movie theater movie with Sam Wilson, the first Black, Captain America in theaters. That would just be just really impactful and just awesome. Deadline added something interesting. So there was a report that came out. I think it was Deadline initially that came out with it months ago about how Chris Evans has signed on for like 1 or 2 more movies, and we're not the role is super uncertain. But Deadline added, reading from Deadline here, while not confirmed, sources say the project Spellman is writing could be one focused on Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson character, while the possible Chris Evans Captain America project would be separate. Deadline first told you that Evans is in talks to reprise Steve Rogers. Yeah, so Deadline was the first to report that. This is multi-layered in here with this Chris Evans thing, but when that report came out about Chris Evans, and Chris Evans is like, this is news to me, I don't understand what that would be beyond hey, it's 6 episodes, or 5 episodes, or no, 6, sorry, putting all the Infinity Stones back where they are, because I don't really know what Chris Evans' purpose in the MCU would be outside of that, unless he's on the moon doing something. But anyway.
Yes! See, I hope they pay that off in some way.
Yeah, I think they might. It's funny. We had another callback to that this last
finale.
episode. Yeah. So Jack, I'm going to throw it to you first. You saw the finale. You saw the report about Captain America 4 with obviously Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, and then also this weird Chris Evans thing. What are your thoughts on all that?
Man, the whole world was falling apart, but in a good way. Because, I watched the finale. I'm pumped about that. I'm trying to talk to my girlfriend about it. I'm trying to talk to everyone on Twitter and Slack about it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to tell my dad, oh, you're going to love this, because he was out of town. And then this news breaks. And I'm like, which it was confusing to me, because I did kind of take the title change at the end of the finale as like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, like that's going to be the next season.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, okay, which... By the way, I just had to point it out. I was a little disappointed that it was the Winter Soldier, not the White Wolf. Don't know if they're going to play on that at some point, if he has more of a story to that Bucky will go on more of a journey still, but a little disappointed in that. But, at first I initially thought, okay, I was like, this has to be the thing that Chris Evans is attached to for Captain America. And then Deadline breaks this news that they're separate.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of with you, David. I think it has to be the whole story of taking the Infinity Stones back, which I would love to see in some way, even if it's just like a little snippet, even if it's just for comedy. But if it's a whole series, that would be cool too. Yeah. If he's part of like Secret Invasion somehow, that's one thing. But they say this is a Chris Evans Captain America project, which just makes me think that the focus is on him. So I don't know. I'm a little confused by it. I'm excited. I'm always excited. And I saw a cool comic strip on Twitter. It was like Steve coming back in a Captain America outfit, and someone calls him Cap, and he's like, "I'm not Cap anymore," with Sam behind him. He's like, I go by Steve these days. I was like, that's awesome. I would kind of like that moment, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But for Captain America 4, give it to me. I'll take Anthony Mackie. I want to call him Tony Mackie, thanks to Matt Remke at the Direct Podcast. Tony Mackie. I give him to me as Captain America all day long. I'm ready for it. I'm really curious to see where this lands in the MCU timeline in terms of like Secret Invasion, what happens after Doctor Strange 2, Shang-Chi, all of that, and see how that will play into this. But yeah, I'm pumped.
Thomas, what do you think of all this? All this Captain America news.
I'm here for it. Aye, Captain. When they said Captain America 4, I was like, okay, sweet. And then you sent me like 3 text like bam, 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 and I was like, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm just gonna read the article because it was just like this fragment sentence. I was like, normally I get that, but I'm not today. So I read the article and I read it and I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't even see the other report. I read it and it's written by the people who wrote Falcon and Winter Soldier, so the same team that just worked on developing him and being like, here's Captain America. This isn't a montage, which is my least favorite part of the first Avenger. It's what I want to see the most of. You know what? I want an entire flashback set in World War II on some missions. Give it to me, Marvel.
Yeah.
I need them in drugs. That's what, if there's 2 Chris Evans projects, that's one of them that could be done. That could be done to set up Namor. Son of a beasting. I just came up with that on top of my head. They could set up Namor by doing the original Defenders in the MCU with Cap, Jim Thorpe, the synthezoid Human Torch. Not Jim Thorpe, that's not his name, but whatever it is. Namor, Captain Britain, maybe, I think is who it was. Like, there was a few people who were all in there. They were the Defenders, and they were a badass group of superheroes. So they could use Cap as a means to set up more exposition in the past, or as we've talked about aggressively, the Captain America Infinity Anthology. Yes, I just named it. I did. I would love to see that. And I also took the Captain America and the Winter Soldier as that's the future, because I understand. Yeah. I understand both sides. If it's we've wrapped up this story, it's no longer the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now it's Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Right. And so that's how we ended this arc. I get that. But at the same time, it's the MCU. And so we're like, oh, is that season 2 title? So, what do I think? Well, we'll get to the finale in a moment and my thoughts on Bucky and the White Wolf situation, as well as some of my thoughts on the Power Broker, because I got some good ones. But when it really comes to the Captain America 4, to really dive deep into what I think is going to happen is going to be really spoiler with the Power Broker. But if we look at every character that has been in the Captain America franchise, specifically, because yes, it's the MCU, but let's be real, he's taking on the Captain America mantle, which means he's going to deal with Captain America's foes and create new ones. Yeah. That's just how this shit works. So we look at Sharon Carter, we look at Zemo, we look at Bucky. Now we've got John Walker, who could be involved with Captain America stuff, but more likely than not, it's going to be in his own military situation. I really feel like we're going to get a war movie with him. I feel like if there's a
spy movie.
No. I mean, I call it a war movie, but war movies are the same as spy movies. They're not that much different. It's just, I actually think we will get, you know how Suicide Squad is like a team of people fighting a big team? That's what I mean. It's going to be a Rogue One style, small group. We're going to battle, we're going to war. I think that's, if we get our own U.S. agent project, that's what it should be. It should just be war, because he's a damn good soldier, right? But bringing all these characters in, we see where they've been left off. We are already predicting where they could go. So I know a lot of people on Twitter, it's kind of 50-50. I feel like a lot of people love it, and then some people are like, I just didn't feel like I was satisfied. Like, he's Captain America, cool, but it ends with so many loose threads. And now with that announcement, it's like, oh, because they always said you have to watch these shows before the movie because it's going to define where the character goes. Without WandaVision, you go into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, you're going to be like, the fuck happened to Wanda? So if you go into Captain America 4, you're going to be like, what the fuck are they talking about? So I think that we might be so lucky to get a Captain America, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, which leads to Captain America 4, which could then lead into another potential show, which I would hope would be Captain America and the White Wolf. I would love it if Captain America 4 was called Captain America and the White Wolf.
Yeah.
Specifically because Bucky's arc, his only arc in this show was making amends and finding his own self-worth. Right? Yeah. He did that. That doesn't mean that he's shed the Winter Soldier completely. That just means he had a list of amends he needed to make. I highly doubt that's the entire list of amends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was just the ones that were there and prevalent, the ones he knew about and could fix. I really think that his journey is going to go a lot further, and I'm very curious to see if we're going to end up in the future at some point with another mantle pass, because to get Bucky to be Captain America, you have to go a really long time of him earning goodwill amongst the people. So they are going to, I think, if they make Bucky Cap opposite of the comics and do the goodwill part first, so then they don't have to go back and do the trial of Bucky Barnes. I think they'll do all of that stuff. They'll prove his worth. He might even die and be brought back to life, only because that's the Jesus narrative, right? The prophecy. Well, now he's earned our respect because he died for us, so we'll let him be Captain America because that's what the world would do. Where, David, do you want this all to go specifically for Bucky?
Specifically for Bucky?
Just from the Captain America forefront. Nice.
I mean, honestly, like, I'll say where I want to go overall, and then that'll answer the question. I'm hoping this leads to no more Disney Plus series for Anthony Mackie, and this turns into a Captain America trilogy. Now Falcon the Winter Soldier was the bridge between the two Captain America trilogies. We got that series so we could make Sam Wilson Captain America, set him up, dive deep, get the story, learn about the characters a lot more than we have in the previous first three films. And now we get three great Captain America films with Sam Wilson, with Torres, with Bucky even. And I could see maybe Bucky perishing at some point, just because I feel like that could, I feel like he'd be the character they'd off, honestly. Even though it seems like Sebastian Stan would just keep paying Bucky Barnes as long as he's alive, pretty much.
You mean Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, maybe that too. But I'm really hoping that all of this means that we're going to get a new Captain America trilogy. And I hope that Captain America 4 specifically is, we introduce a new big bad villain or threat. It's Sam Wilson, it's Torres, it's Bucky as well. But maybe Bucky's not super connected at that point. I don't know, because a big part of this that I think maybe we're forgetting, or that at least I hope they lead into, is the new Avengers, And you would think that Sam Wilson, because he was an Avenger, he trained as an Avenger, and he saw the way Steve Rogers led them, he probably, I think, soon will think, hey, we need a new Avengers team. And that some of those films could work, kind of be Civil War-ish in a way, where it is an ensemble. Maybe not the first one, but if this goes on for maybe a couple films, it could become that. And maybe in that first Captain America film, because right now, guys, what's so weird about just where we are in the MCU, there is no word on when the next Avengers movie could be, and I don't feel any rush from them. It seems like they're going to set up a ton of different stories all over the place, right? Like Eternals, which is this, almost can't even comprehend what that's really going to be exactly, with their powers and who they are. Then we have, Captain Marvel and Love and Thunder, which is galactic. We have Spider-Man, which is here and multiversal. Doctor Strange, multiversal. And then also, Hawkeye, which is grounded. Same as this. Falcon the Winter Soldier, which is also grounded. There's so many threads being thrown everywhere right now in the MCU. And I think they're going to wait a long-ass time before they connect a lot of them for an Avengers film. So I hope that in some way, maybe in this first film, and who knows when this even comes out, because it'll be a while from now. I'm hoping maybe by this first Captain America movie with Sam Wilson, we could start getting, some building a team. aspects to it, even though I think soon we might have a few different teams out there, right? Maybe some Dark Avengers, maybe Thunderbolts, maybe Young Avengers. I think things are going to get wacky. They already are getting wacky. But I think I was looking at it, just the amount of shows and just projects in general they're coming out with, it's going to be all over the place. And one thing I kind of wanted to like take it here right now, if I can, I was talking to some friends who are like casual Marvel fans. My one buddy, he goes, he hasn't watched Winter Soldier, or he hasn't watched WandaVision, hasn't watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and he's not that interested. He's like, I don't, Wanda was my favorite character. Falcon, Winter Soldier, not really my favorite characters. And he's like, and he almost was like, because he knows I'm who I am, crazy, has a podcast, writes for the Direct, like is super into it, lives and dies by it. He's like, he honestly said, he's like, after Captain America, or after now that Iron Man's dead, I don't even know if I really care to up. I might just watch movies that I I care about, like Thor or Black Panther 2. You know what I mean? And I think we're gonna see like something I'm concerned about. Which, is it a concern? Is it not? I think as time goes on, like the line between casual and diehard is gonna just grow further apart because of how many shows and things like people that will say, oh yeah, I'm a Marvel fan, but it's like, oh, but did you see WandaVision and Loki and Hawkeye and every other Disney Plus show and Miss Marvel? Like, not everyone. Yeah, Thunderbolts. People that go see Avengers 5 in how many years, there's going to be way less of them that have seen everything in the MCU compared to even Endgame. So I think as time goes on, in a way, I think some of these Disney Plus shows will be less relevant. And we even saw it with, Sam Raimi. He said, he had a quote saying how, no, we want to make Doctor Strange, like, you don't have to have seen WandaVision for you to fully understand what's happening and, fully enjoy it. If you have, that's great. And that's an extra little like cherry on top and you get the full scope of it. But I think, and honestly, I think that's how it's going to be in general for a lot of these. I think a lot of oftentimes, or in the next, say 10 years, Disney Plus shows, they're going to be good. They're going to be great quality MCU content that means something to the people that care. But you can watch the movies without them and probably still get a better gist of it. I just think, I was even thinking about it, talking to some friends, like I could explain what happens in WandaVision and in Falcon Winter Soldier pretty quickly, just like the meat of it. Like, what do you need to know heading out? Wanda became Scarlet Witch. There's a White Vision out there somewhere. Boom, that's done. Go into more detail about Scarlet Witch. But then, okay, Sam Wilson became Captain America, which not that many people would be that surprised about because we saw him in Endgame give him the shield. And hey, by the end, he does become Captain America. There was a great story along the way that told us the struggle of it, but hey, he ends up being it.
Why it's important as well.
Exactly. And that's what makes, in my opinion, this show so great was that struggle, was the Isaiah Bradley part of it. But I think as time goes on, it's just going to be people being like, okay, yeah, I got it. He's Captain America now. Cool. And when we move, because I don't know if it's even something to be worried about. I just think that's just the way it's going to go from now on. And I think there'll still be great big movies. And I think there's still going to be a ton of fans that just dive even deeper into it like we will, because it just gets so good. Like, they just pump out quality. Like, when's the last bad Marvel Studios project? I like, that was actually bad. Oh, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I'm not a fan, but I haven't rewatched it in a while, so maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. The Ant-Man films to me are fun, but they just kind of are what they are.
They're action comedies. They're the greatest.
Paul Rudd. If it wasn't Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, it wouldn't have the same effect.
Truth, big facts, but also Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah, she's great too.
Love Kate from Lost. Yeah, man. Love Kate. Jack, what are your kind of final thoughts here on the Captain America 4 thing? Then we'll go on a quick break. We'll come back, and then we'll kind of break down Falcon and Winter Soldier a bit more in depth. Because I have some thought-provoking questions before the break.
Can't wait for that. Final thoughts. I like a lot of what David said in that, because Kevin Feige there's that quote out there of him saying like, you have to watch the shows if you want to know what's going on. But then you kind of hear the WandaVision creators talking about how they didn't really focus too much on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness when they're creating it, which I'm not saying is a good or bad thing. I'm just saying that's what they said. And then you also have that Sam Raimi quote in saying he's not really putting a huge emphasis on WandaVision before Doctor Strange 2. So I kind of agree in that I as much as I love these shows, and it's not really a concern, I think the biggest thing about it is that there is just going to be that rift between the people who, like us, are just going to talk about this nonstop, and then the casual fans like my dad, who, if he wants to know everything, I'm just going to have to give him a 2-hour lecture where we are in the timeline. So, but yeah, I'm excited. Captain America 4, to me, it's one of the greatest trilogies of all time, the first trilogy, and I would love to see another trilogy come out of here for Sam Wilson.
Yeah, it's the only trilogy that doesn't have a huge glaring weak link, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Outside of the like Avengers, I'm just like the main character trilogies. Thor has the Dark World, and I'm not that big of a fan of Thor. I never really was. I needed more hammer, less street clothes. And then Iron Man 1 is great. It doesn't age as well to me personally. Like the certain parts of it don't, but like the character stuff, which is all that really matters, ages well. Iron Man 2, Justin Hammer saves that movie to me, and Trevor Slattery saves Iron Man 3 for me.
I like Iron Man 3 a lot.
Me too.
I do. I loved the Mandarin twist. They're like, you can't do that. And I was like, honestly, like, I'm super happy they didn't put an Asian dude in there and was just like, I'm fighting you, white man. Because that's what it would have been. Like, let's be real. It was 2012, right? 2012, 2013.
2013.
Yeah. So
2013, yeah.
In 2011, 2012, the world was a different time then. So it wouldn't have come off the same way as having Wenwu, who's not even being called the Mandarin. That's just a moniker, right? It's even better. It's not like, I'm the Mandarin. You'll never see me coming. No, he's like,
those trailers were amazing.
That was really good.
Dude,
they were fantastic.
That Trevor Slattery Mandarin is just, it's an entire vibe. Spare the children. But I agree that we don't need to be worried, because this is what comics have done for decades. You have team issues that have, you got team ups over here that don't really correlate, and you have one-offs, and then you have, you got to read this little arc, and then you'll get 3 bits of nuggets for this character to go into, say, Scarlet and the Scarlet Witch and Vision and the Scarlet Witch. That was that book title, and that branched out of the Avengers, where they were dating, and then they got so popular, boom, then they got married, etc. In this case, it's a, you have the Disney Plus shows. WandaVision is specifically about Wanda. Doctor Strange is specifically about Doctor Strange. So Wanda, although yes, big part of that movie, she's not the main character. So they're gonna have to explain certain things, swiftly, like they've done. Like Avengers, they talk about the Incredible Hulk. Last time I was in New York, I kind of broke Harlem. They explained an entire movie in a sentence. So in this case, it's going to be like, someone's going to be like, what is she talking about? She doesn't have kids. And then Doctor Strange is going to be like, she might have created an alternate reality where she had created kids, and therefore now she's trying to get them from the pits of hell. Mephisto. I'm still on it. No, I'm just kidding. I really hope we get Nightmare, honestly, because Nightmare is more intriguing to me than Mephisto, because you can still get your deal with the devil, but now you can also do it in your dreams when your subconscious is taking over the body, and it sometimes does things we don't want to do. I see Jack got frozen, like, ooh, face, and I am going to take that with a smile. My question to think about during our break.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think, because this is kind of what I'm hoping we get with Captain America going forward, do you think we might be able to get series that does really important character development for the diehard fans, like Falcon and Winter Soldier, that then lead to an event film of Captain America 4. For it, like, I don't know, Captain America 4 could literally just be Captain America, the power broker. Like, if we're going to show what we think it's about taking down the power broker, which probably won't be. They probably won't find out about who the power broker is until Secret Invasion, because, spoiler alert, we'll get back to that. Do you guys think that that is a possibility going forward? Of we have these, 6 weeks, you get to learn about these characters, builds up to an event film. You can watch just the film, or you can watch the show and understand the whole concept. While you all think about that, we're going to go on a brief break. We got bills to pay, and I really, really need to get some water. We'll be right back.
JBauerArt has the graphic design skills you need to develop your next logo, and at an affordable price. But he's not just a one-trick pony. Follow JBauerArt on social media to interact during live paintings and see all of his previous artwork, which you can buy exclusively at JBauerArtShop.com. Not only is he an artist, this beautiful son of a blue brings you the Back Talk with Bauer podcast every week with unique guests. And every month he hosts a special Back Talk with Friends episode that can only be described as chaotic and hilarious. Need a video intro or commercial? JBauerArt has you covered. For all of this and more, follow JBauerArt on social media. That's JBauerArt. Check out JBauerArt.com for a full portfolio and JBauerArtShop.com to buy that special painting for you and your loved ones. Reels and Heels is a podcast that discusses movies, television, wrestling, and more. With a rotating guest list of friends and filmmakers alike, Reels and Heels salutes the creative arts of all kinds. Join Brian Winzeloff and Nicole Jobin live every Saturday at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Reels and Heels.
The massive audio Doctor Who Bad Wolf Bluetooth Tardis speaker. That's all I gotta say, one word. Wow, it looks like it just jumped right off the screen. Here it is in all its Bad Wolf glory. Right here is the on-off switch and the up and down volume. Right here's the speaker. The TARDIS stands about 6 inches from the bottom of the TARDIS all the way up to the top where the light is. Look at the detail. Wow.
And we are back. Before we went on break, I asked the question, do you think that we would get Disney Plus series that'll expand upon characters like we got with WandaVision that leads to, into a new film of another character, or in the case of Falcon and Winter Soldier / Captain America, will it be, example, we followed his journey to deciding to become Captain America, and then Captain America 4, I feel, will be the fallout of that decision.
Okay. Yeah. If you don't mind, I answer first, Jack.
Go ahead, man.
I think it's going to be all over the place because we're already kind of seeing that. WandaVision, boom, one and done. Limited series at the the Emmys. We know that's over. Boom, that sets her up for Multiverse of Madness. Falcon and the Winter Soldier sets its own self up for a movie sequel, which I think is great. Then Loki, it seems like it's setting itself up for a season 2 of that same series on Disney Plus. I think one specific thing they seem to be getting at with Wicked and Speed, Eli Bradley, Kate Bishop, I think that should and could be leading to a Young Avengers team, whether that is a Disney Plus series, which I would hope for. Oh, Miss Marvel, didn't forget to throw that out there. I think that would be a great Disney Plus series instead of a movie, just because I think it would, it's Young Avengers for a reason. I think throwing Avengers on it and making that a movie would maybe confuse some people. And I think just because they are lesser known characters, that would work better on Disney Plus. Thinking about some other Disney Plus shows off the top of my head that could lead to films specifically.
It's right there.
What are you thinking?
No, you say it. I know you're going to say it.
I was going to say She-Hulk.
not what I was going to say, but intrigued. Color me intrigued. Please.
Yeah. I mean, I think. See, the thing is with She-Hulk is that we actually probably can't get. I don't know with She-Hulk, but I know with Maine Hulk, Bruce Banner, is we can't actually get a solo film unless it's universally produced by Universal. So they've kind of danced around that since 2012. With She-Hulk, I'm not sure, but I could see that character being New York based, being this bigger representative figure in the MCU that could break out of what's going to be a 30-minute law comedy sitcom and become a full-fledged MCU film. I think Moon Knight with Oscar Isaac's going to work beautifully as a show. I think that might stay. And that's the thing. There's so many of these, and we're already seeing in unique ways. Like in WandaVision, for instance, it didn't only just set up Wanda for the rest of her MCU run and Doctor Strange, but it set up Monica Rambeau. It was her origin story for Captain Marvel. And then in Falcon the Winter Soldier, it sets up U.S. Agent Sharon Carter, whatever the hell she's up to, Power Broker. I wrote an article for thedirect.com about her possibly being a Skrull that could show up.
I'm calling it.
Thank you. I'm glad you agree with my article.
I feel like you got that idea from me.
Yeah, you did. You did mention that. Yeah. It was funny that I ended up writing about it.
Because it was like 5 minutes. You're like, I'm actually writing an article on that. I was like,
yeah. It's a great theory, I think, and then also Zemo being in the raft, what that could mean. Is Abomination there? I was almost hoping for a pan out moment and we see who else was in the raft, which we didn't get, unfortunately.
They're smarter than Sony.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Sony, hard tangent. My headcanon, by the way, is definitely that Spider-Man was in Europe when the events of the finale were happening in New York. Because that's the only logical reason in my head. And that's what I'm sticking with. Because if not, that makes no sense. Jack, do you have an answer to Thomas's questions?
Well, I do want to say maybe he's just a high school kid not interested in politics.
No, come on.
No, I know. No, I know. I have to think he's in Europe. I'm with you. Honestly, I don't know if I have any more additional thoughts. I kind of agree with you. I think, Thomas, what you said about these shows kind of being like comic books almost and having their own different runs. And if you want to be interested in it and learn a little bit more about certain characters, go for it. But yeah, I think we'll see like a bunch of different shows do different things. Some will set up more shows, some will set up shows, some will set up actual movies, and then the movies could even then lead into more shows or other movies, as obviously. But yeah, I think that's kind of where we're headed with Disney Plus here, and I know they're just going to keep expanding on Disney Plus because they're dragging more people into it, more viewers, more subscribers. So yeah.
And on the Young Avengers thing that you were talking about, David, I really want to point out that Disney Plus is tailor-suited for the kids. And as Terry McIver pointed out in the comments, the animated Avengers series because there's a few, have introduced all kinds of characters from the comics that we haven't had in the live-action movies as yet. The kids are much more prepared for what's to come. That's a big fact. I mean, I know that both. David, you haven't watched Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the show, have you?
Definitely not like completely at all. I know that's the one that was on Disney XD. No.
Yes.
Yes.
What about you,
I've
Jack?
seen bits.
No, I haven't. I have not.
Yeah.
Go watch it. They go so deep into the lore. Like, I mean, they're just like, hey, kids, here are these characters. And I'm like, oh my God, I love these characters from the comics. Because I had read, by the time it came out in 2010, I had read every comic from 2007 in about 9 months for Thor. So I knew, and all the Avengers since he had returned from Rebirth with J. Michael Straczynski's run back in 2007. So I highly recommend that. Enchantress is one of my favorite Thor villains because of just the only reason she's a scorned lover. So it's a really interesting take on her, but she's also a witch. So it's very intriguing that they haven't introduced her yet. And I'm wondering if we're going to get her in Loki, but the Young Avengers is perfect for Disney Plus because you're more likely than not going to get slightly cheaper rates because they're younger, they're lesser known talent, but also they kind of run payments a little bit differently and how it goes into the actors' accounts, basically. So they might be able to save a little bit of money on not having to worry about revenue points right now, kind of in the same way that you draft a rookie quarterback to replace another quarterback who's only 2 years away from having to drop like $100 million because that's the market for quarterbacks these days. Sorry for using NFL references, but it's kind of the same thing where you use that to build up, but you're also just giving, hey, kids, you want to be an Avenger? Here's kids that are Avengers. Like, chef's kiss marketing right there, man. Because everyone wants to, like, and let's look at who we have so far as well. We have Cassie, right?
Yeah.
White woman, because she's basically a woman. We have Kate Bishop, another white woman. Eli Bradley, black young male. America Chavez, who is Latina and black, I believe. I think she's Dominican. Anyways, I don't want to get it wrong because I don't remember off the top of my head. Speed and Wiccan, who technically don't exist.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite wrinkle of it all. And who is Miss Marvel. So you have a very large cast of young characters who all look very different. And you have representation from a lot of different places. What better place to do that than on Disney Plus? Because Falcon and the Winter Soldier had like the largest premiere of The Mandalorian. Everybody around the world loves The Mandalorian, but they love it because it's Star Wars. When you love it because you can see yourself in that character, we've already seen what happens when representation is put out there in the masses. Chloe Zhao, I mean, that Nomadland is all about homeless living, right? So it is astonishing, the changes that have happened in the filmmaking industry. And I think it's just pointing it to that's just the future. It's going to get bigger and more expansive in the MCU and more representation in cinema as well overall. We should probably break down Falcon and Winter Soldier now. Officially.
I mean, I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. Where do we want to start? Should we start with like the main big situation, or should we like swing that to the obvious one to the end? Or we have Captain Wilson now. So
honestly, like if I was rewatching it the other day and it moves fast, right? Like we get a few pivotal things. First and foremost is Sam Wilson flying in, being a badass with his sweet new Wakandan suit, which I will say looks amazing. I think outside the headpiece and the ears going on, that'd be my only. I almost hope they like tweak that for the film because that almost seemed like not the funky. Yeah, something was off, not like sleek in a way.
It's clunky. CLUNKY. Yeah.
I
agree. His suit, the only thing that bothers me about the suit is like it's the shoulder pads and they're so square. And that really, I don't know why that bothers me, but it really bothers me that it's like a 1980s suit jacket and it's annoying to my eyeball.
Yeah.
It does not look like a pauldron. It doesn't look like it's going to protect him. It does look like it's got enough space in there so that when he does lift his arm and he has to do all these movements with the wings, it's totally going to work. So I totally understand it. It just looks weird. It looks very bulky. And to be fair, he has to have a bulky suit. He's always had a bulky suit. And when it's not in black, it's extra bulky looking.
Yeah, and it's definitely not black. Actually, the main color is like white, unlike Cap's where it's like more blue.
Love it.
That was done in the comics, and I genuinely don't know if that's done because he's a black man, but like it makes complete sense that a black man who's like, I'm Captain America, would need to, especially in America, because let's be real, we live in America, so we know what happens in terms of prejudices. And like he said, I can feel it now. The stares, the hatred, the judgment, that's prevalent. So I think it's very interesting that Wakandans put that white in there. Like it's like they were. I mean, obviously they've always been ahead of the rest of the world, so they're kind of looking a little bit ahead of that. And I'm not sure if that's what they intended in the comics, but it's actually my second favorite Captain America suit behind Bucky Barnes. Cap doesn't even rank. I mean, Steve doesn't even rank. Sorry.
Yeah, I was surprised because the Wakandans made it. It didn't look like Wakandan ish enough to me. It almost seemed like just a normal Captain America suit. But I will say, like, just on the suit, it looks amazing when flying in action, right? And the fact that he can like shove the shield on his back while he's flying, the use of it, like, holy shit! I mean, that when I was watching the action in this, I literally thought this needs to be a movie. Like, I want a movie with Sam Wilson as Captain America flinging this around, like not just because it's great. I'm sitting there watching it on my TV, but I want this in a theater, man, in a blockbuster movie. Yes.
Question: Thomas. How much would you pay to watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier supercut in the theaters?
Ooh. How much would I pay? I'd pay the premiere access $30. How about that?
I like that answer.
That's clever as hell.
Yeah, they should do that. They should be like, hey, reverse card and
Uno.
Premiere access in theaters for our Disney Plus shows. Got them. I would be all in.
Yeah, give it to me.
Yeah, like, so there's Sam Wilson as Captain America, all that badassery, and him just really owning it at the end, talking to the senators, and it being this new. That's what also made me excited for like a movie too, where like it could be this dynamic with the government and just the world as a whole and what it represents. I think it's just going to be awesome. We got one thing with this show, the Flag Smasher sucked. Like that. To me, they were such shit villains after it was all said and done. Like, they were terrorists, point blank. Yes, Jack.
Quick question. So, just for both of you guys, did we like them initially in like those first few episodes, or has this been a continuous problem for you guys with the Flag Smashers?
I would say so. I liked Carly, and that's kind of like how you base the Flag Smashers, at least in my head. And then she kind of just like took a turn with blowing up the building, and it never really looked back for me. Where she was this empathetic, villain, which is what you want to like care and make there be some sort of dynamic struggle where it's not all black and white. There's some gray area and some confusion. Right. I thought that was way more well done with John Walker in this series than with Carly and the Flag Smashers ultimately, which. I read because of COVID that it changed some of the Flag Smashers story around because they actually like were involving some sort of virus in the plot, which obviously was gonna be like was not gonna fly now. We're in a pandemic. But I will say like they were a disappointment, and then basically they all get offed. In the end,
all but one.
All but one. You're right. There was one that was in the river.
Which I'm wondering if he becomes the Flag Smasher from the comic.
Maybe, maybe
we don't got names on these people, so they could just be like, "Yeah, that guy, it's this name," and we're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. So they're like the Flag Smashers, and I predicted it. It was like one of my predictions from last episode, where I'm like, that story is gonna wrap up. They're gonna die, or they're just gonna end, and they pretty much did. Carly dies, which I thought was kind of surprising, but it fitted the story. And it needed to happen in a lot of ways, and it made sense that Sharon's the one that offed her because she's be the one that wouldn't care. Whereas Sam's like, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you. Sharon's like, boom, boom, you're dead because you just shot me and I'm not messing around. Yeah. So there's that. The Flag Smashers story ended. And to me, that was lackluster. It honestly, in the series, even though I love the series, because of the highs, and that's really my one main critique, that and Sharon, because I think her character is not as interesting as they think it is, unless she's a Skrull. But I will say, like the stuff they nail, they just absolutely nail. The moment with Bucky and Yuri, we get that scene. We get and I don't know how. I'm curious what you guys think of this. Actually, what do you guys think specifically? Because I'm kind of running through like the main points in my head. John Walker, right? John Walker comes back and he has a heroic moment. He has that moment where it's like, am I here to just kill Carly out of rage and no other like reason? Or am I actually going to help the greater cause and help save these people? and then literally be like running in hallways with Sam and Bucky, which I thought I would never see in this episode.
Yeah.
And I think John Walker has been so well done. And I saw someone complaining about why would John Walker at the end with Val, why would he be so like, I'm back, like Spider-Man 2, I'm back. Ah! And I'm like, no, it makes sense. He is a military man who lost everything, who lost his rank, and now he's working for a team again. He's like, yes, I'm back. I can work for someone. They're going to send me off on dope missions. I can use my super serum. And I don't think in his head, he's this villain, right?
No.
And I'd argue there's he's scary, but, I don't know. His best friend gets destroyed by Carly. Yeah. And he just rage with super serum, obviously, in the system, runs and kills a guy. If that had happened, behind closed doors, he'd still be Captain America. It's just because it was a PR move by the government. They're like, oh, we can't have this, man. But if it happened behind closed doors, even if the government knew about it, I don't think he gets pardoned. Because what did he do in Afghanistan? What earned him those 3 medals of honor? He was out there doing some dirty work. He said it was like the worst days of his entire life. Yep. I'm sure it wasn't all, Sam and Carly having a cordial conversation like Sam Wilson can do. It was him getting in there, taking care of the business, and getting people out, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure he got that many people out. I think he just went in and killed one.
Well, there was like the hostage situations they talked about or whatever. But yeah, anyway.
And then he talked about how he lost pretty much everyone. And so it's like, eesh.
Yeah.
Sounds like he did not. Even if he succeeded saving one person, it's never going to be enough for a soldier in that situation. You got to get them all.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of the John Walker halfway redemptive arc / where he's left off?
Jack, I yield the floor.
Thank you. I liked it. I know people have complained about it, especially the part when he's like cheering at the end, like, I'm back.
Yeah.
Great reference there. But like people are like, why is he so happy? He still lost Lamar. It's like he just got his life back. They took all his benefits away. He was discharged. I mean, like being a soldier was his life. They took that away from him, and then it's that crisis of who am I now? And I think that's what he was struggling with when he goes and gets a trash can lid for Captain America shield.
Yeah,
I love that, honestly, because it's like there's no way that thing holds up. I don't care how much work you put into it. But I liked this turn at the end because I know people wanted him to kind of go full villain in this episode, but to me that's just like not real. Like this is still a guy who served his country, and it's what David said. Like life in general is gray. It's not black and white. It's not like, oh, I'm a full villain now. Okay, I'm gonna do only villain things. Like here, there are people about to die, politicians who put him in the position to be Captain America, by the way, and that's also a crisis because they also took it away from him. So I thought it was a really interesting situation that they set up, and you can see him kind of like shake his head. Wyatt Russell, I love him. Kind of like do something with his eyes, wipe his eyes. You can tell he's still struggling with the death of Lamar in that moment because he sees the woman that killed her, or the teenage girl that killed her or killed him. And I loved it. And Henry Jackman coming in with that music, I think it was from Civil War when he's trying to pull the truck back and then the flag smashers get on him and stuff.
Yeah.
It was such a well put together moment. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm biased with Wyatt Russell. I love the guy so much. And that fight scene in episode 5 at the beginning, I think it was just some of the best acting in the MCU right there by everyone.
Yes.
So I really dug it. I loved his story. I don't know. What about you, Thomas?
No, I'm in the exact same boat. I fucking love Wyatt Russell. I don't even remember what I first saw him in. It wasn't 22 Jump Street. It was something before that, like a year or two before that. But that was the one where it cemented him.
22 Jump Street. Oh my God.
That's the one that has me cemented on him because I'm just like, that sold me because I'm like, he's hilarious. And anybody who's funny has a dark side because the world is great, right? As you just said. Like as soon as they announced him as, John Walker, I was like, oh, hell yeah, John Walker. They because I was actually watching the San Diego Comic-Con live feed from Agent M. He's like, John Walker's going to be in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was like, yo, that's sick.
Yeah.
He's played by Wyatt Russell. oh, well, now I already love the character. So when he debuted and everyone's like, that's not my Cap, I'm like, all right, cool. And then in episode 2, everyone's like, God, I hate him so much. And I'm like, he made a mistake. I get it. You know, we all make mistakes. Like, I live in a world of making mistakes every day, so whatever. And then as it just went on, he just kept making more and more, and he kept digging his hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's all because he wasn't sure he could even do it. He wasn't sure he wanted to do it. He wanted the honor to be Captain America, but he said, I just want to do the work, not all this other stuff. And Lamar reminds him, that is the job, man. That's what comes with Captain America. You are a public entity. You're not just a soldier anymore. Here's the most important fucking line of this show, because it gets brought back later, not in words, but in actions. You can't punch your way out of things anymore. A callback from Civil War. Are you sure you want to punch your way out of this one? And then it projects to the finale when Sam is there. When it comes to the real issue at the heart of the series, it's the politics, which has always been Captain America's issue, right? It's always dealt with the politics.
Right.
But Sam Wilson is, like he said, perfectly suited to understand how complicated the situation is. And because of his grief counseling, which, by the way, is a total theme. What's our next one coming out? Black Widow? Grief. Watch. Loki? Grief. Watch. I'm calling it right now because
Loki's next,
that's how you get deeper into characters. You go into what makes them hurt, and then you have to come back out to rise them back up. So with John Walker, as soon as he took, like, he was stressed and he was trying to just do his best, and he was, you know, like, what was it? He gave him that 10 minutes to do whatever it was going to do. And I'm pretty sure by that point he'd already taken the serum, right? No. That's
not
when,
yet. Yeah.
That's when Zemo went. So he was already kind of losing it with patience. You add super soldier serum to that, and you just become more of yourself. That's what power is, as Lamar said. So we get to the point, and Lamar, the reason I really feel bad for, like, the character of Lamar. He's honestly cannon fodder in the essence of he has to die in the same way that oh my gosh, the Doctor in Iron Man in the cave has to die for Tony Stark to, like, snap into a oh shit mode of becoming Iron Man. That's who Lamar is. It has to break John Walker, and his way of dealing with is being a soldier. So when he makes that decision and he's there and it's going, as soon as that was coming up, I was like, oh yes, come on, John, make the right decision.
Same.
Mind you, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just like, make the right decision. And then it starts, like, playing Lamar's words, and he's looking at his Medal of Honor, and I'm like, yes, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, because I'm like, yes, you can do it. Like, everybody makes bad decisions, but it's what have you done for me lately? And he makes the right decision, gets jumped, and then everyone's like, why would Bucky and Sam all of a sudden be okay with him? Because they not one time thought he was a bad guy. They just didn't think he was right to be Captain America.
They just thought he was a dick.
Yeah, and Bucky really thought he was a dick. Sam was upset at the situation, but Sam was always the one who was trying to say, come on, we can fix this. We can talk about this. If you tell them what happened, they may take your record.
I mean, granted, at the end of episode 4 and then the beginning of episode 5, they were like, all right, you're done here, buddy. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. But even there, they were still, Sam still tried to talk his way out of it.
Right.
Yeah. It's just
you gotta give me the shield, man.
Yeah.
Exactly, which is what's perfect. And then as soon as he said that, you know, he's like listening, and then this is what I love about John Walker. He has these just head tilts that I can't figure out what is going on in his head.
Yeah.
And as an actor, I'm like, that is what a brilliant choice, because I'm sitting here as just an audience member going, what the fuck is going on in his head, man? Like, because I know, like, me, when I'm stressed, I do the same shit. I close my eyes and I'm like, oh my God,
we all have
like,
our thing. Yeah.
So it's like, oh my God, that's so brilliant, because it just teases what's about to happen. I'm about to have to make a split-second decision, and he's in a fight-or-flight mode, and he's a fighter. I love John Walker.
He's like a velociraptor when he does it. The little head tilts like, huh?
Oh, and that's what this has always been about, huh? I also love that he's only clean shaven once, and it's in the very beginning in episode 1.
Yeah.
I don't like Wyatt Russell without some kind of stubble, but also John Walker historically has this like grizzled, lazy 5 o'clock, like my neck beard. He always has my neck beard going on.
Right.
So, I loved how John Walker is like, they build him up like he's a good guy with some bad traits. He made this really bad decision, so now we think he's really bad. Okay, no, he's actually a good guy. So we are back in this world of gray. So he is a full-on anti-hero. He doesn't want to be a hero. He just wants to be a soldier. Carly kind of is portrayed from good to bad, and we watch her get radical. I mean, she's already been radicalized by Sharon Carter, Power Broker. But it's interesting how, as an audience member, you're empathetic with her, and then the instant she blows up the GRC building, it's like, all right, now I just don't fucking care. Because why would you do that? And it doesn't logically make sense until, to me, when she talks with Sharon Carter and they talk about, she was, took her in and all that good stuff. I have an article from Marvel.com up. And they're talking about, the relationship of Carly Morgenthau and the Power Broker. And Sharon, this is coming from Aaron Kellyman. Sharon recruited Carly at a younger age and trained her. She was going to create this little army of super soldiers. In episode 6, we learned Sharon wanted to control the world while I wanted to change it. That's why Carly left and created the group, the Flag Smashers. Sharon trained Carly for everything. She's the reason Carly knows everything she knows fighting-wise. So that kind of, like, having that nice little tidbit explains that, it seemed radical to us and out of nowhere, but she's probably already done shit like this well before forming the Flag Smash.
Yeah.
I gotta say, if Sharon's not a Skrull, I don't get this left turn with her character. Like,
I am so happy you brought that up, David, because I have another beautiful quote here. I keep clicking the wrong damn. Yeah, I have so many tabs open right now. I keep clicking the wrong one. Emily said when she found out that Sharon is in fact the Power Broker, it made perfect sense. It solidifies what it all means for Sharon. That's not the line I wanted to read. Where's the line I wanted to read? Okay, here we go. We knew if we were going to bring Sharon Carter back, we had to redefine her. She put her neck out to help our guys, and she was literally left in the darkness of the aftermath of Civil War, which is great. And this is me speaking. Great, because we never see what's happening, and we know that 10 years or more have passed, almost, in that time frame. She essentially had her arc off screen, and we're now catching up on what she experienced during that time. You uncover the mystery of why she has changed and who she has become. And it's true. She does talk exactly like, well, I had to do some things to make life because you guys were off doing whatever you were doing. And it's like, oh, okay. And this co-executive producer, Zoe Nagelhout, further elaborated, there's always the question of not losing the remnants of the character and keeping elements of her, but still fully exploring what happens when you're forced to survive for years. This is the key. This is the key sentence here, David. Your key mode is survival. That does something to a person.
Yeah, she's a Skrull.
And I also am like, she's a fucking Skrull. Because what better way to bring in a queen of the Skrulls, right? And I believe it was Spider-Woman in the comics was actually the queen. Or
I think so.
And in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, it was Mockingbird. So why not reinvent it as the if we're going to watch it in chronological order, right? We're going to watch the first Avenger first. So it's the first woman main character that you're going to see. Her descendant is now all of a sudden this bad person. Whoa.
That's what I'm saying.
That's awesome. That's weird. And if they don't, because again, Secret Invasion is all about Nick Fury, right? And probably Sword. So it's got to have stakes to Nick. it's got to be someone we know, someone we've been with for a long time that's actually in power, aka the power broker.
Do you guys think Maria Hill is in Secret Invasion?
I would think so.
Because think about it.
At all? I don't.
No, and I just thought of it because Thomas brought up a good point. Like, who would she care about? I thought maybe Maria. You know, because Sharon Carter being a Skrull, even though I think it's true, is still like an out there theory. Where was Maria Hill actually in Far From Home, if you think about it? Because we saw where Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury was. He was, you know, in space doing whatever, but Maria Hill was also replaced. And I don't think that, I would think that would also have been a consensual replacement, if that makes sense. Not like, for instance, I think Sharon Carter, because like maybe Sharon Carter, the real one, is in space somewhere, and she's been replaced by this Skrull against her will. Because, like, I think I might have touched on it a bit. Like, okay, she's out on, you know, she's out on the run doing whatever. She was vulnerable, and that could have maybe left her susceptible. And a powerful person that a Skrull would want to invade and be that person to now all of a sudden have all these military and government secrets and weapons. I don't get if she's not a Skrull. I don't get why she's just so, for lack of a better word, power hungry. That was never Sharon Carter's deal, right? She just wanted to be an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That fell. That was ruined for her. She was burned from S.H.I.E.L.D. So she joins the CIA. She just wants to be an agent. She wants to be her, you know, her Aunt Peggy's niece. This greater, like, fighter for the better good, makes out with Captain America. Like, you know, old Sharon Carter. Like, I don't get it. I don't. If I get, like, the quotes are interesting to me too, Thomas. I'm glad you said those, because now it's just like, why is that the character arc? You know, I think I get why they'd want to do a left turn with her and kind of do something different. I just think it could have been a little better if she's not a Skrull. Like, I think it could have been a little more interesting. I care in the future, but I'm not even sure I really do, because is she really that big of a threat? I don't know. Is she really that bad of a person? It seems so out of nowhere to me, honestly. So I would say that and the Flag Smashers would be my two biggest gripes with the show, even though I loved it. And in a second, when we get to our Marvel TV show rankings, it'll show up there.
Jack, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you guys. I don't think she's a Skrull, but I don't not like your reasoning for why she should be or could be. Because I'm with you. It didn't really work for me. I understand why. I understand those quotes. I do think there was a way the show could have executed that story a little bit more. Maybe gave us a little more with her, other than her just playing on an iPad and finding where people are located.
Yeah.
I do kind of wish maybe she did something a little bit more menacing. I mean, she did kill Carly, but I mean, Carly did look like she was about to shoot Sam. So, you know, to me, I wanted a little bit more with her as the power broker.
She also killed Batfrost.
Go ahead.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we feel about that? Because for me, I was kind of like I like how he was in the show. I don't really know if I like how he was just kind of killed off and we kind of see him fall.
Same
there.
I have a friend who's been. I have a friend who's been arguing with me for the entire weekend, like back and forth. I'm like, she's a Skrull, and she's like, yeah, no, blah blah blah, and I'm like, she's on the phone with a Skrull, and she's like, no, she's on the phone with Batroc because he's alive because he faked his death, and I was like, what? How did you get that? Because they make blanks. I'm like, yeah, I know they make blanks, but like, why would she shoot him with a blank? Like, she's the power broker. She doesn't need him.
Right.
Yeah. I don't like that they keep killing people off.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that one didn't really sit too well with me because I was like, what was the point of that? Like, he's still someone who could keep popping up. But I just feel like if she was a Skrull, I don't know why you don't reveal that here. And look, down the line, they could, whatever, the next time she pops up, they could do that and make her have the reveal that she's a Skrull, and I'll be like, oh, that was awesome. But to me, I just feel like they would have done that here to keep that trend of, hey, Skrulls are here, Skrulls are here, Skrulls are here. But Go ahead.
I would say the counter to that, even though I agree, and I would have liked to seen it, like if she is a Skrull, the revealed now and kept up that mid-credit scene trend that we've getting the last 2 projects after Endgame. The counter I would say is that we need surprises during Secret Invasion. We need during the show, because that's what happened during the actual comics, from if I'm not mistaken, where it's like it came as a surprise, and we know. I think like in WandaVision and Far From Home, they were surprising to see Skrulls pop up, and it was surprising in Far From Home more so to see Nick Fury and Maria Hill had been Skrulls all along, because that kind of like makes you look at the movie in a whole new lens.
It does.
Yeah, which I kind of
he eats toast that's not cut diagonally, or is cut diagonally, and he gets called Nick. Like, it's specific little Easter eggs that are planted in there that when you watch back, you're like, oh shit, that was the plan.
It's a little it feels a little weird to me, because like it seems like it's just Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson doing his same like like bitch please, you've been to space, like all that. Like, did Talos really say that? I don't know. But
no, but Nick Fury would.
Exactly. So
he's a good actor.
Yeah, exactly.
To wrap up the Sharon Carter of it all really fast.
Yeah.
The Marvel posed a question, and it said, how much power does the power broker really have? So I'm skipping around here. Things have certainly not been easy for Sharon in this lawless land where she had to fend for herself. For her to be thriving the way she is, it makes sense for her to be this intimidating, bigger version, and for her to put on this display for the boys. It all kind of works in her favor ultimately. She's orchestrating so many things for Madripoor, and as you see in episode 6, she decides to reappear outside of Madripoor and take matters into her own hands. On the decision of Sam and Bucky not knowing Sharon Carter's role, the executive producer said, the conflict doesn't really involve Sam and Bucky. She's not out to get the two of them. She's on her own path, her own mission. It wasn't necessary to have to complicate her relationship with those guys. She can help them out and also be the power broker. It was interesting to us that there be duality in this character. And what the final credit revealed, Van Camp hinted, obviously, she has a much bigger plan, and it's not for the greater good like it used to be. As the person playing the character, I understand the perspective. She doesn't trust the government anymore, and she wants to stick it to them a little bit. What that all means, I don't know. We'll see.
Boo.
So, when it comes to that Captain America 4, maybe we don't even get Sharon Carter in Captain America 4. Maybe Sharon Carter is honestly, I really like the idea that going forward in the MCU, we're going to have the opposite effect of what happened in, say, the Infinity Saga, where the heroes had to come together and they had to be introduced and they had to be collected and blah, blah. On this, now the villains and the anti-heroes, well, now we got to even the odds. There's too many powered people. We need our own team. And it happened in the comics as well. So, Val, which we haven't really touched on her that much because she doesn't really do much. She seems to be one of those people. I feel like Ross is going to be a part of that kind of one of those people. I feel like Ross would be Thunderbolts, and I feel like Val would be Dark Avengers.
That's what
little bit.
That's what I like to. That's what I would like to see, I think.
And Sharon Carter was also trying to build her own super team. So, who know? Ooh, maybe Val's actually working with the government with Thunderbolt Ross, and that's all Thunderbolt because Ross is Secretary of State, so he can't actually, if he's alive, he can't actually really do too much in terms of publicly. So he needs a secondary person, enter Val. That's just wishful thinking. Let's be honest. She's probably Adam Hydra.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that we didn't see Thunderbolt Ross in this series. I think we will probably get him in Captain America 4 if they continue with that character. Because I think there's an outside chance we kind of like, even though it seems like we will stick with that character because we want to see like Red Hulk and the Thunderbolts, that there's an outside chance we almost like move on from that character. Because it seems like, especially like when we saw the Senators of like post Endgame, it seems like a whole new kind of cast of characters and no longer that Hail Hydra guy. You guys remember him from Iron Man 2? I think I would like to see Thunderbolt Ross in the future of the MCU. I think the next obvious place for him to pop up would probably be, outside chance, maybe Hawkeye. But I don't really know what the story that's going to be exactly. But I think Captain America 4 would maybe be that place.
I find it funny. Like, the next place he's pop up might be these. I have no clue where he's going to pop up because we haven't seen Black Widow. And I think Black Widow...
That's true, Black Widow.
Yeah. Black Widow is going to set up more of what Ross is doing than just him popping up, because we know he's in there. We know Taskmaster's in there. We now know Val is in there.
Right.
So it's like, ooh, we know they're talking about, oh, by the way, there was a Russian version of Captain America, the Red Guardian.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, there's a lot of backstory they're building here. I also want to see Red Guardian versus Winter Soldier from like the 80s.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really sweet.
Zemo of it all, really quick.
Yeah.
Before we move on, what were you going to say, David? Was it about moving on?
It was about moving on, yes.
Okay. What do you guys think about the Zemo of it all? I feel like he's becoming the most powerful villain in the MCU without having a single fucking power.
How about that Butler?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's an Alfred if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Imagine
Alfred,
like a
I've
weekly
got
show
this.
with him.
Dude,
Just
that was
doing Zemo's
great.
dirty work.
I
love
love the
it.
Zemo show.
Oh man.
Zemo wasn't in this show enough, really. And
I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, in everything, he just steals everything. I love Daniel Bruhl so much. In my opinion, out of Inglourious Bastards, he played, he played the Nazi sniper.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "Oh my God, Christoph Waltz!" I was like, "Yo, that Daniel Bruhl guy was like, he ate the screen up, man. He was." And then somebody was like, "Yeah, I just watched Rush the other day with like Zemo and Thor," and I was like, "Yeah, what'd you think?" I'm like, "Dude," I was like, "Yeah, right." He kills. I mean, they kill those. I want Thor and Zemo to face off just because they've met in Rush, and their chemistry is so great that this ultra serious kind of quip, very regal and proper Zemo with, oh yes, yeah, I heard you made, Tony and Steve fight. That was rude. Yes, well, they killed my family. Yeah, well, I was there. You gonna try and make me fight someone now? No. Like, it would be so great. It would be like because Daniel Bruhl would be the straight man, and Chris Hemsworth would just be like, "Look at me."
Yeah.
So I want more Zemo. I love, I saw a tweet and I retweeted it because it's so great. They hyped us up with that mask shot for one scene of him beating the crap out of people and shooting people. And yet, satisfying. Like, sure, it wasn't enough, but this Disney Plus show is set up. Really, if we look at it for what it is, WandaVision was set up. This is set up. Whether or not they come out with the season 2 or not, who knows? But I feel like if they do, it'll be set up. And I think it kind of goes back to the mini issues leading up to an event. Maybe that's where they're going. And if they do that, that's very exciting, because you only want to watch the movies? Hey, great, man. You can go watch the movies. I'll tell you what the fuck happens right here on our podcast. If you want to watch it all, join us every week when we break it down, minute by minute. But we have something else to break down, don't we, Dave?
We do. So today, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll do it, pretty quickly now that we're kind of running low on time a bit, but I thought this would be, I posed this to Jack and Thomas in the similar way, where this is an imperfect list, an imperfect ranking, because unlike the MCU or the DCEU or Star Wars films, Marvel television shows have kind of been strewn all over the place until these Disney Plus proper MCU Marvel Studios shows. It's been Netflix, Hulu, ABC, whatever the hell else. So I think we've all seen a different variety of this handful of live action Marvel shows. And today we're going to give, quickly, I think the best way to do this is just kind of go through each list, and then compare and contrast notes. But you can explain as you go, kind of give your reasoning. So yeah, here are the lists if you wanted to pull it up, Thomas. So here's how my list goes. Oh, I like how you add that part, Thomas.
What?
That part.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man. Coming in with shots, bro.
Well, here I go. Here's my list for Marvel, not just MC. Well, I guess there's the whole canon discussion. My number one Marvel television show, live action, is Daredevil. And I mean seasons 1 through 3. I think seasons 1 and 3 are the strongest of the bunch. I think especially season 1, like that. When Daredevil season 1 came out, it's like, holy shit. This is a great show. Great characters, great story, bone-crushing, raw, gritty MCU. Because at that point, it felt it was away from the MCU, but it was an early enough moment in the MCU, and it wasn't connected where it's like, yeah, this could be happening down the road in New York. There was no Spider-Man then. I think there was even Doctor Strange by then. So it's like, yeah, this is just like an underground story going on, gritty, awesome. I think Daredevil, I want to rewatch it, honestly, because I've only watched each season one time through. I really loved season 3. I remember I was late to the party, actually, with watching it. But wow, great show. Number 2, just recently, the most recent show is Falcon the Winter Soldier. I think it was a great show. It ranks fairly high on my overall MCU personal rankings, like just below Black Panther. I think there are some lows and things to nitpick, but the highs and where they hit, they've really hit. Like all the great character development for the characters we care about. Adding U.S. Agent John Walker does a great job. Next up, WandaVision. Obviously, the most unique show on the list. One of the most unique shows I've ever seen. It was a character going through grief that happens to be able to shapeshift reality around her and make, life. And it's just like an amazing story that I think has some weaknesses, just because of the story they were telling. And I think the way it took over the zeitgeist on the internet hurt it in some ways, just by watching it week to week standpoint, because you have these expectations that all of a sudden were growing because of different people. But looking back, it's really just a character study. It sets up the Scarlet Witch and does a great job of it. So that's number 3 for me. Jessica Jones, which I almost thought about putting it above WandaVision, actually, because I love Jessica Jones season 1. Great show. After that, I think I saw season 2. I don't remember if I watched season 3, but I remember it kind of like getting worse for me. Love Jessica Jones. I forget the villain in season 1. Maybe the chat can help me out, or one of you guys.
It's the Purple Man, David Kilgrave.
Oh my gosh. Incredible villain. And just a really good show. Number 5, Luke Cage. I only saw season 1. Season 1 was really good for like 80% of it. And they killed Mahershala Ali, and then it went down the shitter. So that show like was great for a while, but then it kind of went down. 6th, Agent Carter. I remember watching this. It was a limited run. From what I remember, there was 2 seasons. Okay, they were they full like length network television though? Weren't they only like 12? Oh, really? I watched all of it.
Oh, you mean like the season count? Yeah, it was like 12 episodes a season.
That's what I meant. Yeah,
that's why it was. Yeah, that's why it was so good, because it was concise.
Yeah, exactly. And Jarvis, which was great, and he pops up in Endgame, which is an awesome little wink at the fans that have seen Agent Carter, which I recognized immediately. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
and then finally, number 7, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I personally do not think is a good show.
How many episodes have you seen?
I watched the first 2 seasons, I believe. That was years ago now. Because let's paint a picture here, shall we?
Hold on, wait, really quick. What season 2? I don't remember. That was after the fall of Hydra. That was the build of. Oh, it was build up to the Inhumans, which was really in season 3. Okay, the Inhumans in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. way better than that crap show that exists.
I remember kind of like the Inhumans thing happening, and then leaving at some point in there. And let me paint a picture, right? Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I do not think became a good show. I just didn't get invested in it. I lost interest. I thought it rode the coattails of the greater MCU, and it's like, oh my gosh, after the Thor the Dark World, and they go to wherever that was happening, and we have to clean up this place. Like, it's in the MCU. To me, like, the characters, it never really like drew my attention, especially for network television, where it's like it can be like 25 episodes in a season, and you have to be week to week. And it wasn't there for me. I love Coulson, obviously, but honestly, like, I think a lot of people, MCU fans, when it was first starting in 2013, and Coulson was back, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I thought, like, I was super excited for it, right? Like, just more MCU content. At that point, there wasn't like 100,000 projects coming up. So, like, anything MCU, you were eating it up. To me, it just ended up being kind of not great network television to me. And I'm sorry about that, because I know there's like big fans of it. But to me, I just never really like got into the characters for who just they were alone. I thought, and because the show, like the movies, unlike Disney Plus shows where it's going to be all intertwined and lead one to the next, the MCU, the movies affected the show, but it was never vice versa. So it gave me, like, I remember actually trying to watch it longer than I really even felt like it, because I thought I'd like almost be missing out on some MCU stuff, but I gave up. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is my number 7, because I didn't think that show ended up being very good. And that's just my personal opinion. I never watched Defenders, Iron Fist, Punisher, which I don't know how I never watched Punisher. I need to watch that one. Inhumans, Runaways, or Cloak and Dagger. So I didn't include any of those, but I heard Iron Fist was bad and Defenders was bad. But I need to watch Punisher. If anything on that list that I haven't seen in Marvel, it would be Punisher. All right, who's up next?
I've heard Punisher, Runaways, and Cloak. I've heard Cloak and Dagger and Runaways are really good. I've not seen them. Let's go Jack. His list is short.
Okay.
Shorter.
It's definitely short. Yeah. I mean, David and I kind of like share a lot of sentiment here. Daredevil being number 1 for me was like an immediate, obvious decision. I loved that show. And I think I saw the trailer for season 2 and I was like, what is this? Like, I didn't even know he's part of like Marvel in general, not even just like the MCU when they were trying to like tie it in and stuff.
Right.
But I was like, man, this is cool. So I checked it on Netflix, and just the action alone is so cool. I thought it was just like, is a completely different, even though again, they kind of like hinted that, hey, we're kind of in the MCU. It felt completely different. And actually,
oh, it's not me freezing? It's him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here.
Oh gosh, was that freezing? Can you?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Oh no. Okay. I was going, man. I don't know where I cut off.
Action-packed Daredevil and how it sucked you in.
Okay, yeah, it sucked me in. I was just gonna say, season 3, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it. There's a have you not seen it, Thomas? I won't say it.
You're good.
Okay, all right. So there's a scene with Wilson Fisk, and it just like the emotional journey with those 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And it's just like the buildup of everything and the acting in that scene. Charlie Cox, right? That's his name,
Yep.
David?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, his acting, brilliant. Okay, moving on. We're good. We're good, Thomas.
All right.
My bad.
You're
number
good.
Number 2, I have the Clone Wars. Oh, wrong list, sorry. Number 2, I have WandaVision. Had to throw it in there. Number 2, WandaVision. I don't know. I've watched the finale of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier again. Talking with you guys, I don't know. It's kind of sneaking above WandaVision. I'm not sure if I'm confident with this choice, but I'll stick with it. WandaVision number 2. For me, it's just the acting and some of the writing with it. It's just, it broke my heart so many times. So good. Number 3, Falcon and Winter Soldier. We just kind of talked about that. Number 4, Defenders. I just remember liking their interaction. The only show I watched, I guess, was Daredevil on this one. So I just kind of liked their interaction. I had watched some Luke Cage, not all the way through. I kind of got a little bored, but I liked their interaction. It wasn't that big of a deal for me because I wasn't like watching Jessica Jones and then Daredevil, then Luke Cage. Like, it wasn't a build up for me. I just kind of turned it on, watched it, and I was like, hey, this is pretty good. And then number 5, Punisher. I really liked season 1. I think it actually should be at 4, but I really liked season 1. Season 2 for me got so boring, which sucked because it's like the Punisher and it's supposed to be like gritty, hardcore, really cool, but just kind of got bored with it. I don't know, but there's that one actor in both seasons from he's from like I think Chronicles of Narnia. He's like Prince Caspian. I don't know his name. He's supposed to be in.
He is. Yeah.
He's supposed to be. He's Prince Caspian. He's supposed to be in Shadow and Bone, that new I think movie series coming out. I forget his character in the show.
Ben Boone, right?
Benjamin something. I don't know.
I'll IMDb it. I'm on it.
Look it up, David. But yeah, I was like, I love this guy. I loved Caspian in those movies. Those are guilty pleasures for me, at least like the second and third one.
Ben Barnes.
Ben Barnes, that's right. Yeah. God, I love that guy. Yeah. I didn't even know I could pull that. Shocking.
So random.
It was random. But yeah, the Punisher, I hope John Bernthal comes back in some way for it because I thought he's fantastic. But overall, the story wasn't quite there for me. So that's my list. I did watch some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., kind of agree with David. Just never got invested in it. I couldn't keep going back to it, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas is not
alone. I'm alone. There's no one here beside me.
You got Terry in the comments.
Gotta go full shred.
All right.
Are
we ready?
Thomas?
My number 1, Star Wars Rebels. David, you need to watch this show, man.
Yes.
Listen, there's some great Jedi action. There's a great love story. There's a beautiful found family, and more importantly than all, there's Kenobi. Kenobi.
David, that was really good.
Thank you. I've been practicing.
He's good at the Kenobi one. I know. Yeah.
Dude, that's the best impression I've heard of it. I've heard people try to do it, and it ain't that great.
He's got it. Sure. Thomas could literally, if what's that guy who does Kenobi? I've seen him do it on YouTube.
Sam Witwer.
Yeah, if something ever happened to him, Thomas is their guy. Anyway,
I've only been training since I was 8 years old. Cut me in half. I'll take robot legs. I don't care. So for real though, my number 1 is Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I ain't even gonna lie. It's because it's so fresh. I'm just way too hyped. Because for me, in a lot of I've watched Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision. Those are the only 2 things I've watched recently. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I thought WandaVision would be higher, but the payoff of Captain Wilson, that's what I was trying to say, of Captain Wilson is so good. And then that speech with the senators, it's just like, that's Captain America. Like that is quintessential what Captain America is about. And that's why Steve picked him at the end of the day. And so it was just beautiful. Chef's kiss. In like 6 months, this list will be different. Number 2 for me is WandaVision. I'm going to go back to the Winter Soldier. My favorite thing about both of these is that in some way they're dealing with aggressive amounts of grief. Wanda, her grief is she's lost everybody. Her brother, her mother, her father, her lover. Then she makes a whole new one, and then she loses them too. And it's like, she's okay with it right now, but grief always comes back.
Yeah.
And with Bucky, his grief was all internal. It was his mistakes, what he's done. So I really love that theme of grief. And actually, you're going to see here in a second, that's my top 4. There's a theme. Jessica Jones, I've only seen season 1, and that's why it's so high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because honestly, I think I watched everything up to Defenders. And then after that, I just didn't watch anything else because I just didn't care. I was let down with
they started making way too many. Netflix was trying to milk that cow way too much, man.
Yeah. No. It wasn't so much as Netflix. It was Jeff Loeb as well. He was in charge of the TV division, and I wasn't a fan of some of his decisions on. Oh yeah, I wasn't a fan of some of his decisions on the Netflix series. Like you could tell in season 1 of Daredevil, it shouldn't be 12 episodes. It's like 2 or 3 episodes too long. And Disney and Feige has realized the same thing. 6 to 9 hours is a really good arc for telling a story to keep an invested story without having filler episodes.
Yeah.
David hates filler episodes.
I do hate filler episodes.
And I'm not gonna lie, in Daredevil, I did too, because they were depressing. Jessica Jones, they didn't have as many filler episodes to me, but those filler episodes were so impactful on her grief and her trauma. I mean, and really it was about being a survivor of abuse. You know, in her case, it was mental and sexual abuse. I mean, she was literally like taken control of. So
yeah, it's
that,
crazy.
you know, like overcoming that abuse is such a beautiful story that honestly was so powerful, and I think it's heavily underrated. Number 4 for me, The Punisher. Grief is still obviously a theme here. I've not finished season 2. It took me like a year to finish season 1 because I just didn't have time.
Yeah.
And I did it. I would literally just watch it while folding clothes. That was the only time I'd watch it because I knew it would take me an hour or more to fold clothes because I would do laundry so infrequently.
Yeah.
John Bernthal is great as Frank Castle. He's just great in everything he does. And the way they kind of wrap up the end of season 1, and how he kind of is working with what's the guy's name who's like a hacker and he ran away and he like,
oh gosh, I can't tell you.
I can't remember his no, I don't even remember his real name. I'm trying to think of his like comic book character,
right, yeah,
like code name. I thought their relationship was great. I loved the story with that family. And I think the reason I haven't really gotten too deep into season 2 is it started in a weird way. And then the Ben Barnes of it all, it's just a little bit. Also, again, I haven't had time. Daredevil. I never saw season 3. I didn't like season 2. I probably could move Daredevil lower on this list. And actually, because of how bad season 2 was, I'm going to do that live and in your house.
And you got to watch season 3. Season 3 is really good. I know you're saying about season 2, but it really gets back to like, because Fisk comes back in season 3. And it's great.
That's what I've heard. Yeah. That's what I've been told. And I'm like, ooh, okay, I'll watch it. But as soon as I went to watch it, they'd canceled it. And so I was like, well, and then I also was told that it ends with a little bit of a setup for the future. And I was like, well, I don't want to.
I'm surprised you didn't like season 1 as much as you're saying. Because like filler episodes, I don't really remember like, you know, and I'm Mr. Point Out filler episodes.
Hey, remember, like I said, I never saw season 3, but I saw season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2 is a filler episode. The finale of season 2 is a filler episode. The fight is garbage. What is up with Elektra the whole time? I don't even remember her arc. I just remember going, oh, that's dumb. I don't like that. That was a waste of a character. Like, totally wasted.
Yeah.
Did they kill her?
I don't know. I think I am just a huge sucker for those actors and those characters that like just watching it made me like, this is good. You know, like it could be worse, but this is good. Like I understand there's some things that are going wrong. And I think, so for me, like season 3 makes it bounce back up on my list. Like mine would have been, if it was just Daredevil 1 and 2, it would have been below WandaVision for me, I think. But because season 3 like makes it gets back to kind of where it was and makes the story like
Fisk is back, right? In season 3?
And it's awesome. It's amazing. Yeah. Anyway.
And Vincent D'Onofrio is easily, if they take one person from Netflix and only one person and keep him as the same character, it's got to be Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
That version of Kingpin is great.
Yeah.
Unequivocally great. John Bernthal, also great. But I can emotionally handle them recasting those just because it's been so much time since we've seen them. But when it comes to the amount of times we've seen Kingpin in media in general, Vincent D'Onofrio is my favorite one outside of Into the Spider-Verse. And he's barely even into the Spider-Verse. And I'm talking the 1996 Spider-Man animated series where that sumbitch had some arcs, baby. Like, that's how good that character is in Daredevil and how they wrote him, and he's an amazing actor.
What's funny,
Full Metal Jacket?
Super quick tangent. Like, I think Kingpin in Into the Spider-Verse is one of my like lesser likes about that movie. Personally.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he's that great. I think it might be because comparing him to Daredevil's Kingpin, it's like, this is too like comic booky, I guess, where it's almost like he had a little bit of like, you know, Vanessa and the train and stuff, but he's a little too It's almost like when you compare Bane from like Batman and Robin to Bane in Dark Knight Rises.
That is the most perfect, brilliant.
How'd you like that?
That is beautiful. So Daredevil's now 7 because I really didn't like season 2. But it'll probably move back up. Like I said, it'll change.
It's fine. It's okay. We're fluid.
At number 5 is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now,
oh Lord,
I'm not gonna try and like lobby, but listen, when I say that I'm a loyal person, right? I commit, and if you lose my interest, you lose my interest. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. never lost my interest. At the end of season 5, it ended, and they set it up where, you know, if we don't know if we're coming back, they haven't told us, so we're gonna just wrap it up, and we can figure out some stuff after. And then they're like, "You're picked up." So they filmed like one little scene, and it was very vague, and that was all the setup for season 6.
Yeah.
Season 6 is 13 episodes. Season 7 is like 13 episodes. I've not seen either yet because I moved right around the time that it came out, and I lost my DVR. So I just fell behind on all television, including Flash and the DC CW shows.
Yeah.
I will say, season 1 is my favorite episode of season 1 is still episode 3 when they introduced the Gravitonium and Gravitron. And that doesn't it pays off. It pays off. And I learned about Gravitron and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes to tie it back to the very beginning. He is the reason the Avengers assemble in that show. He's not the reason, but he's the overpowered reason where they all come together. There's a giant breakout at the Raft, and all these supervillains are out. And so all the Avengers, well, they're not Avengers yet, have to come together and try and rein in all these people. And Gravitron's the one that is like so OP that S.H.I.E.L.D. can't do it. And it takes all the Avengers to assemble and take down Gravitron in a 2-episode arc. They introduced that in episode 3, and it doesn't pay off till season 5, and it is a beautiful payoff. But in season 2, I'm like, okay, like season 1, I was really losing interest, and then Captain America Winter Soldier came out, and it was like, oh, Hydra of it all.
Right.
Sucked it back in, was great storytelling, and you could tell they were just like, well, we got to wait till that. And then season 2, I don't remember really what they do, but that's about the time they stopped tying into the MCU, is season 2. Thor to the Dark World was 2013, and Avengers was 2015, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely wasn't watching by Ultron. I definitely wasn't there. I think my last tie-in, I remember being Dark World.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't
maybe
no, Captain America. Actually. Yeah, no, Captain America: The Winter Soldier came out after Thor: The Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
Was there any Guardians tie-ins?
No, there wasn't. There was just a simple one from Thor, and Sif came in. I think that was season 1. Then that might have been episode 8 of season 1.
Yes, Sif
that was like their big hook.
Yeah,
so,
I remember that. Yeah,
I was hooked. I remember.
Midway through season 3 or season 2, they start introducing stuff. I highly recommend, because if I'm not mistaken, at the end of season 2, Daisy ends up. You find out she's an Inhuman.
Mm.
Yeah,
remember that.
3 is her origin story as Quake.
Yeah.
Comics is a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, ends up becoming director of S.H.I.E.L.D. at a certain point. It's so OP she can literally break the world in half, and is considered one of the strongest Avengers just because of her ability to control the ability to, I guess, create vibrational waves that can obviously frequency destroys everything. It's great, but season 4 goes into life model decoys and into a mainframe, if you will.
That's where I stopped.
Yeah,
I didn't think I watched that much, but I guess I did. Wow.
Yeah, that's the stuff that I really loved. I was like, because once they're like, we're kind of done with MCU stuff, we're just gonna do our own thing. I was like, great. Now you can just tell stories that you want to tell.
Right.
And once they did that, they went bonkers into comic book stuff, man. And there are certain things in season 5 that really confused the hell out of me, but it's a time travel thing. Totally recommend. Agent Carter, number 6, 2 seasons. Give me more Haley Atwell. Can't wait to see her as Captain Britain.
Yeah.
In, What If?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Number 8, Luke Cage. They should have never fucking killed Cottonmouth. But because they did, we can get Blade without anybody wondering if they're gonna have them crossover. So huzzah.
That's right.
Iron Fist. Honestly, I'm surprised I put it at 9 and not at 10 because
wasn't it terrible? I never even gave it a shot.
I did not like the choices that the character Danny Rand made. He should have been this calm guy. He's supposed to be zen. He doesn't even use his Iron Fist, and then I heard in season 2 he loses it again. And I'm just, anyways, the Defenders, because they built it up, and here's why it's at 10. It's why it's last. They built up the Hand through all these shows to literally be 5 people who are slightly immortal, but not that good at fighting. So that's why they have all these ninjas, because the ninjas did more work on Daredevil and Elektra and Punisher than they did on any of these other people. Granted, I will say, though, Luke Cage is powered, Iron Fist is powered, and Jessica Jones is powered. So maybe that's fair. What?
Daredevil's powers?
Not strength-wise, not ability. He can, so Jessica Jones, strong. Okay.
Yeah.
Luke Cage, strong. Iron Fist has that punch thing. He's got that one man punch thing going on.
Right.
So they're like, as opposed to the other guys who are just, hey, I got knives and nunchucks. I got guns.
Doesn't Defenders end with Daredevil like under a building? Because that's how like season 3 of Daredevil starts. Because I was like, oh, okay, that's what happened in Defenders. Got it. Cool.
Yeah, it does. Thanks for reminding me, because I would have been super fucking confused if I go to watch season 3 of Daredevil.
Yeah, I kind of was. I watched a YouTube video of wrapping it up after like starting the show. I'm like, all right, I gotta just look at like what happens in Defenders, because I'm not watching the show, but I want to know what happened in Daredevil.
Yep.
But yeah.
Right.
All right. So, I've not watched Inhumans. I never will. I've not watched Runaways. I definitely will check that out. I think they've ended their run. Once Feige took over, he's kind of ending shows, and it sounds like it's going to be a more... If it's coming out from Marvel, it's in the MCU, is what the vibe is feeling like, based on how he's designed things, and he's in charge of all of the Marvel. In Cloak and Dagger, I'm 100% checking out, because Emma Lahana from Power Rangers Dino Thunder is in that as a detective, and that was enough to hook me, baby.
Yeah.
That was my last season I watched the Power Rangers on TV. I was like 13. I was a cool kid, obviously. So we do actually have a question from the comments as well this week. This comes from Mama Irizarry. She asks, who is Sharon Carter talking to on the phone at the end? I love this question because everyone has some kind of different answer.
I mean, I would hope a antagonistic Skrull. That's my that's my hope and dream. But honestly, like reality, like if I had to put money on it, it might be that woman who she talked to when she was getting in the car at the end of episode 3. Just because we know that's a character that she's talked about in the light of she seems to know that she is the power broker and she works for her, and that would maybe make some sense. Do I understand where that character's going and why? Not really, but that'd be my best guess if I had to put money on it. Jack, Thomas, any guesses or thoughts?
Honestly, putting money on it, I'd probably say the same thing, David, but hammer time. Justin Hammer, give him to me. I want it, please. God, what's the actor's name? I'm forgetting.
Oh my God, so am I. Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell.
Thank you. Okay,
it's been a long show.
Yeah,
it's been a long show.
It's been a long show.
I love him in Iron Man 2 so much. He's just so much fun. And I know, and that's why I'm kind of thinking maybe they'll tie in. Maybe that's what Feige was talking about. Watch all the shows, you'll get it. But I don't know. I wouldn't put money on it. I just kind of want to see it.
Yeah.
I have a list of 4 people. 2 of them have already been said. 3 of them have already been said. I also, when it comes to Armor Wars, was it the Direct that wrote an article earlier today that I was reading about that might lead to her being the power broker, her new thing. She has government access to prototypes. It's theorized that maybe Iron Man's tech went to the government because of the Accord, so they keep it out of the public's hands. So now she's just going to sell it on the black market, and that's how we start the armor wars. And she might actually be that villain, or the funder of that. For her future.
I like that. That actually really cool. On board with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then which also, guess what? That could mean that is Hammer.
Right.
Perfectly.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah.
And if it's setting up Thunderbolts, it could be Thunderbolt Ross. I doubt it, but it could be. We don't know. Maybe he's gone completely off grid and he's no longer. He's just like, look the girl, man. I do what I want with my mustache. And then I have Hammer, which I love the idea of that it being Hammer because it makes perfect sense, especially since he's already broken people out of prison. Skrull, that girl, as I have named her from David, but I just thought of another one. It could also maybe be Val. Maybe Val.
Are they in cahoots? Maybe, yeah.
It's Val. Val is a very gray character, we'll say. I mean, in the comics, she's Madam Hydra, for God's sake. So that's awesome. So that kind of tells you where things are going. So she's gonna get money from, and like she says, she's like, I have some very powerful friends. Power broker. Yeah. I don't know who she's talking about, but it's one of those four. That's my guess.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the finale of the show officially. Social media. Jack, where can everyone find you on social media?
I am most active on Twitter at Jack Pews. That should just be Jack Pews. Pews,
Lucky.
P-U-E. Spell it right. Yeah. Weird last name. So I lucked out there, even though no one can pronounce it right. But high school, 4 years, can never pronounce it right. Yes, thank you. Yeah, you guys nail it. My high school, literally 4 years, and then 4 years with my sister. Never got it right. But yeah, check me out there. I'm most active there.
Yes.
Awesome. David, what about you?
You guys can find me at my name, David Thompson, on Facebook, at David J. Thompson on TikTok and Instagram. Follow me on Twitter, guys. It's David Thompson with 2 A's in the David. That's where I am also most active, most like to talk to you guys, most like to talk about these sorts of things. It's my favorite app, so follow me on Twitter. Thomas, how about yourself?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, IMDb, my website. You can get all of those links at linktr.com/TC. I don't know why S's are so hard for my mouth today. I think it's because I have a giant hole in my lip that I keep biting. It's linktr.com/TCRochesterACT. That's TCRochesterACT. And of course, you can always find us on LightsThunderAction at Linktree and HWWS WebTV. Jack, do you have anything to promote this week, good sir?
No, I don't. David, watch Star Wars Rebels, please. Matt and Liam on the Direct Podcast. Watch Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, please. I am begging you. Do it, people. It's so good. Watch those shows, especially if you want to really get invested with everything going on with The Mandalorian and all that. But no, I don't know. I'm thinking about starting to post my own reactions to these shows and trailers just because I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm crying. I don't know. I think I should do it. We'll see.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. If you want someone to come on and talk Bad Batch, buddy, I'll be there.
Oh, please.
I think the only thing, I mean, now that they threw on the Tarkovsky or whatever it is, Clone Wars, the anime version, I'm like, I gotta sit down and watch 2 hours of Star Wars. Just need to carve out 2 hours in a day.
Yeah, no kidding. I know. I still gotta check those out.
Yeah, same. I saw a couple when I was a kid, but I didn't have cable at that time in life, so I just got lucky. David, what do you have to promote?
Yeah, guys. So just check out thedirect.com. Check out my articles. I just wrote an article, like I've been mentioning, about Sharon Carter being a Skrull, which I think is pretty interesting. I'm trying to think. I also wrote another feature. Did that ever go up? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm also working on I'm going to tease an article I'm working on. It has to do with Loki and time travel and possibly my favorite movie of all time. And I'm going to put all the things together, and I'm super excited to write it.
Wait, is it from this?
It's not based on that. No.
Okay, I was wondering.
That's cool though.
Yeah, I'm gonna point some shit out on that really quick for our visual audience.
Yeah, I'll be coming up with like a cool piece on time travel and Loki and all that. Probably coming out this weekend. So look out for that. Also, of course, follow the Direct on all the social medias. Check us out for all the latest news. Obviously, we're kind of in a dry spell right now, starting like today with this week with no Marvel stuff for a while. But Bad Batch is coming. I'm sure Jack will be covering that, going on the Direct podcast. Check that out. I'm sure he'll be on discussing all of that. Check it out here. But yeah, we're going to be pumping out a lot of interesting articles on the Direct.com to keep you guys entertained until we wait for Loki on June 11th. So check all that out.
Speaking of Loki, I don't have a damn thing to promote, but I just wanted to break this down because I have some notes. On the back of this Loki Legends series from Marvel, it says, mere moments after his escape during the events of Avengers Endgame, Loki is apprehended by the Time Variance Authority and arrested for his crimes against the sacred timeline. Now, that's intriguing. That's kind of like our first real nuggets of what this show might be. Here's what I'm actually wanting to talk about this entire time. If you look at the bottom of this box, this is the most banger of a figure lineup I have ever seen. This is the first time they've released these Marvel Legends figures where I've actually wanted all of them. All of them. I want WandaVision. I want the Scarlet Witch. I want the White Vision. I want Loki. And to be fair, I could probably deal without Loki just because it's not a cool suit. I don't like the Time Variance Authority thing. And he only comes with, I think, a red wing. But if you look at the very bottom, it's a build a Captain America figure. You have to buy the Cap figure separately, but then you get the wings and all the other stuff, and you build those. And it comes with a stand as well. You got a masked Zemo and U.S. agent, not is very important to note, Captain America version of John Walker.
Right. That's dang. That's cool.
Dang. It is. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of the show. First off, I just want to say thank you to Jack Pews, excuse me, for joining us tonight, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you for harassing this Clark Kent wannabe over here, for watching the Rebels. Can't wait to have you back on, man.
Thanks, Jack. It was an absolute blast, man.
As always, there could be no show without the Clark Kent doppelganger.
Thank you, guys. This was awesome. Can't wait to be back on talking Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely we'll have to plan
that. It's okay.
out.
I'm lagging. It's okay. Keep rolling.
It's okay. Yeah, you're good, man. As always, there could be no show without the Clark Kent doppelganger. To my right, world famous journalist David Thompson, bringing the news and spicy webs. Thank you to Terry for all of your hard work behind the scenes with social media, research. This show would literally be Bush League without his hard work. Thank you to the HWWS WebTV family for supporting us and carrying us on the network. Most importantly, thank you, the audience. I mean, without you, we would literally just be talking to ourselves, which, I mean, we would have fun. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's not like we didn't do this for like 3 years at work already. But with you here, it makes all the lost sleep and research that I do worth it, knowing we at least put one smile on somebody's face. Thank you for joining us. This has been episode 54 of Lights Thunder Action. We've said goodbye before, so it stands to reason
we'll say hello again. Bye, everyone.
Au revoir.